Okay, welcome guys, welcome. This is, I think, episode 10 of ChatTactic for 2025, and I've got a lot to talk about today. Actually, there's a lot of things launching this week, and actually even in the following week as well. So, a lot to cover. So, welcome anyway to the to ChatTactic. It's been a couple of weeks actually since I think I've actually recorded one of these. I've had too many things on. There's been an awful lot happening actually. In gaming sort of circles and things. But this week there is a lot of launches, a lot of big launches for me anyway. So I sort of have titled this one with Distant Worlds 2 as well as with Age of Wonders 4. So I'm allowed I'm allowed to show a very limited amount of Age of Wonders 4, but I'm not allowed to actually show it or play it. But I can certainly sort of preempt it. Now, as of tomorrow, I'm going to be able to then show the game as actual live stream. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to be actually live streaming that here on YouTube as well as on Twitch as well. So I'll be doing a dual live stream of Age of Wonders 4 with the Giant Kings DLC. So Unborn is saying, "Woohoo! I am here." Welcome. Now, welcome anyone. It's I'm going to give away 2 keys today as well because I've sort of been a little bit remiss with putting these episodes out. Hi Dom UK, how you going? Hi to anybody else that's joined us as well. So I'll start off with the game I'm going to give away, and that way we can sort of just have a look and I'll show you what this game actually is. I've got giveaways for next week as well, which I will leave for next week because that game is going to be coming out next week, but I'll talk about that game as well. So I'll let you know sort of what the giveaway is going to be for next week. But I'll give two of these. I've got a couple of these keys to give away, and I'll just get my my notes in through here just so I can see what I'm doing. So the game I'm going to start with is River Towns, which is an interesting little game actually. It's a funny game, and I'll show you. I'll actually play a little bit of it. So if we go into River Towns in through there, you can sort of see it in this aspect. So so it came out about a week ago, and I didn't do the recording like I didn't do last week's ChatTactic. I've had a croaky throat, and so I've sort of been not wanting to push it too much. Building the suspense. There we are. So solving puzzles by placing buildings and creating vibrant cities in river towns. Each district has its own style and shapes, making every level a new challenge. Help to restore and rebuild our river towns. It's a funny little game. It's sort of one of these games that's very, very relaxing to play. You can see there it's rated very positively, 92% with what it does do. So it's a very nice little game. And I will show this, I think, as an actual game. We'll just quickly go down through the various bits and pieces. You can sort of see the other types of games that it likes, like Airborne Empire, which was a very, very interesting game that we covered a few months ago. Terrascape, The Wandering Village. I mean, this is a game that I did mean to cover in some depth when it came out, but I never did. I never actually got to it. But that was also fairly interesting. It's sort of almost like a puzzle game within a city builder, but in a very simple way. Like it's simple but engaging. It's sort of Tetris meets City Builder is the way that River Towns sort of does work. About the game, in River Towns you place differently shaped buildings. Yeah, blah blah blah. Puzzle a river town. Yeah, and I'll show you when we get into it. I think the easiest way to do this is just to show the game, and but this will be the giveaway at the end. We've got two keys to give away. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll go whoever comes first and whoever comes last. I think we'll go from to the extremity. So if you do extremely poorly, you win a key as well at the end of the session. So we'll do it that way. But it's a nice little game. Let's just go and I'll just go and show you. I'll show you directly. Now I've got River Towns right here. By the way, that's Endless Legends 2 there, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'm under embargo. So we'll be covering that in coming weeks as well, but not this week. Yeah, Dom UK saying, "Well, that's a great idea." Yeah, look when I've got a fair few keys to give away now at the moment, like a fair number of them, and so I'm not actually. Normally, I've only got like 1 or 2 keys like in the coffers, but we're fairly rich when it comes to keys at the moment. Miguel is saying, hello Daz, I'm glad that you liked Emperor of the Fading Suns. It's a game me and some of the people around you some time ago in chat, but you dismissed it as too old. I know I did. I'm going to talk about that actually, because I do have a key for that one next week. So that'll be the giveaway for next week's ChatTactic, which I'll talk a little bit about that as well, but I'll talk more about it next week. All right, so this is River Towns. I'll just go and continue what I'm actually up to. There's a challenge, like a daily challenge you can go and do as well, but I'll just go to continue. And so it's a puzzle game, the way it sort of does work. And so if I just go into the upriver, I haven't gone very far. I wanted to just do just enough to sort of at least understand how the game played before I sort of did this one. It's a little bit loud, I think. I'll just bear with me, guys. I'll just go into audio, take that down to say 50%, and the music I'll take down even a bit lower again as well. Okay, accept. There we are. So if we go to noble intentions back through here, so I've done these, but I haven't done noble intentions at this stage. Oh, maybe I'm going to do this one. I think I have done that one. So I've got the Dead Orchard or the Old Noble District back in through this other side. Let's just go and have a look at this one here. So a town is a rich town in order and rules. Everything and everyone has its place. But when the river dries up, our neat way of life started to crumble. Restoring the source of the river is the only way to gain our riches. Now, this is sort of a tutorial as well, so I haven't really gone too far into it. Hi, Coffee. How you going? And Richard Phillips. And so in this case, we have to then the different districts. Actually, this looks a bit interesting and a bit different. You have to sort of start off with the essentially like the heart of the river, which is essentially what you're going to be placing. Now this will then open up. This looks like a very difficult little map, to be honest. We have to try to sort of capture these sorts of areas. I can get 2 of them straight away, but I don't think I will. I'm just going to show you basically how to play it. So we place this particular heart of the river in through here, which then fills the river up with water. We then actually have different shaped buildings, and you can see down through here we've got this is the current shape, and I can only click it on next to one of the other elements. So if I go and click it in through there, or if we do it in here, let's just go and work its way into the middle. I then just claimed a little bit of gold, and that's giving me different scores. And so the idea is to get the most score. Now in this case, we've got another red shape, which means that it is. If I right click. No, is the right click going? No, that's going to be the map. I'm sorry, I've completely. It's the scroll wheel, and so if I go into there, see how it's now got connections, 3 different connections going into what we're actually doing through there. So if I go into, I can't really sort of do that, but if I just go into that one there, now that gave me another another 3 elements because they connected. This is actually a difficult map. I should have shown a different map, I think. So now we actually have, this is your current shape. Just go and click on that one. These are the shapes coming up, by the way, so we can sort of have a look at what they do. I won't spend too much time with this, but we can actually now start to sort of build other locations in here. So if I go that way there, and just go and build it into this area. And so we're only using the one coloured tile at the moment. In fact, I'm going to click on the tiles to see what's sort of available to us. In fact, I think that maybe that's the one that we've currently got. I think I can then go and sort of push other tiles into this. But we've only got red in this particular map, so we're only using one colour. Now that's going to be a suitable one to then go and place into there, again getting 3 different tiles. And so that sort of now has made like a full aspect in that area. If I go and right click here, if I just go and, sorry, not right click, if I scroll wheel into that one's through there, so again I'm picking up the gold. We want to be picking up the gold and getting the biggest score we can possibly get. This is all a bit too easy, this one, because it all just is following these aspects. So what have we got coming up? I've still got another one of these coming up as well, so I can still sort of place one there, and then have the other one sort out what it's doing. In fact, that is not the one that we wanted, but that's okay, and I can just right click this one and do that. There's another one that I'll then just set these up because we know what's coming up. The other ones will then sort of slot into the area that I'm doing. So I'm maximising what I can then go and do. And you'll see there that we're going to end up with a square, we're going to end up with a sort of like a U shape, and then sort of like a largish shape into there. So I'll be able to sort of place everything in here. This one here slots into that little area, giving me extra scores. The shape that we now have fits nicely up into there to grab that gold. And then we finally just have the last shape there, which will then sort of finishes off the puzzle. So we sort of maximise what we can get through there. 123 points. So it's a little puzzle game. That's pretty much what it is. And that's about the maximum you can get. So we ended up with the Old Noble District. So that was a good example there, I guess, as to how that then plays. We'll just go into continue. And I can come back and replay these different maps, but that now has been selected. I can then just go off to the Dead Orchard. So very, very quick and easy to play. As I said before, it does actually have, there's a lot of different things in it as well. Like, this is the overall map, but we have custom levels as well. So you can sort of go and grab them from like player-made levels, from online. So there's a whole lot of different stuff in here. And of course, you've then got the daily challenge as well. You'll notice that there's different coloured roofs, and so these have got different themes. And so you can sort of mix and match to build them up. So in some maps, you'll have multiple different types of housing to then place on your river. Anyway, that was a simple little example there, I guess. Anyway, I'll quit out of that one, but that's going to be the giveaway. 2 giveaways today with Rivertown. So so have a look at that one. I did mean to cover this a week ago when the game did actually launch, but it's better late than never, I guess. So I do want to thank the devs for providing me with the key for Rivertowns. It was a game that I was thinking, look, it's probably not in depth enough for me to make an actual dedicated video on. But I thought it was perfect for ChatTactic, just to sort of go through. So, so it's essentially Tetris, but in a river system, and the maps do vary quite dramatically. Like you end up in areas that are much larger to see what's actually going to be coming, and so it's a fun little game. It's a game that I like when I was playing it, I found it really quite relaxing, and I was enjoying it. So it was one of those games. I sometimes find games that I just enjoy playing, and that was one of them. That I didn't need to do all those extra little tutorials. I just enjoyed doing them. So like every day or so, if I had 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'd just come in and play one of those. Which was sort of what I did. That's why I'm a little way through. I think I played a couple of the challenges as well, different days as well. Richard Phillips has said, for your eyes, I played a bit of Tempest from a novice perspective. Seems quite good aesthetically. Very over the top, like Command & Conquer. I haven't played that actually, all not even familiar with it actually. Hi Coffee, how you going? And Asias, Richard Phillips saying, okay, so this is Tetris basically, yep, so we did that one. Hi, have you commented on Paths of Power? Is it worth getting? I don't have it, and I don't know it. Sorry, I'm not sure. What do I know about it? I don't even know if I know anything about it, to be honest. Richard Phillips is saying this is for me will be a fun for about maybe 2 hours, and then I'll get bored. Well, it's a 10-minute game. It's a coffee game. A beer and pretzels, very, very quick. You wouldn't even call it a beer and pretzels games. It's a coffee break game. Good game to relax, says Richard Phillips. Yeah, that's about it. So, looks like a nice casual game to relax, says Dom UK. And Richard Sensitive saying, yeah, I would see myself playing, for short bursts. And that's the way I was playing it. It literally was just, I had a few minutes. I'd fire up the game and just play a little bit of it there. Richard Phillips saying, I might get it for my Steam Deck. I use that in bed. Yeah, so I'm the same with Sudoku. Like Sudoku is actually my go-to game when I'm trying to go to sleep. So I got that on my tablet, and so I play Sudoku religiously. In fact, it's a bit funny. I've damaged my shoulder. I haven't basically for almost a year now. Haven't been able to use my left arm properly. I can raise it certain ways. I'm starting to get good at it now, but I haven't been able to really sort of do much with my left arm, which has been really annoying because I can't swim with it properly, except for the last week. Because the last week was the first week that I could, or the week before actually, was the first week I could start to actually swim using my left arm properly. I could do breaststroke, but I couldn't do that, and that was actually from playing Sudoku in bed, holding up the tablet, and sort of my my shoulder freezing in place. So I ended up with bursitis, and it's been there for a year. It's just starting to go now. It's just funny. So yeah, it's a Sudoku injury. But I love Sudoku. I absolutely love it. I sort of I've done a couple of little videos on it, but no one ever watches them, so it's sort of not really a popular thing to show. But I do really enjoy it. The new Sins. That's all right. The Paths of Power. Sorry, yes, it's the new Sins DLC. Yes, I do have that. I was thinking that name rings such a bell. But I haven't actually played it yet. So I do actually have it, but I haven't played it. Maybe you should have a look at that as well. I will talk about Paths of Power. So when you said it, it was like, oh yeah, what's that one? And it was of course, Sins of a Solar Empire, Paths of Power. So I've actually got it installed, but I haven't actually played it. And I apologise. I've only just woken up, so I woke up. It's not even 2 a.m. here at this stage, so I'm going to be a little bit. My brain is not going to be engaged fully at this point in time. So when I sort of started, I thought, okay, this week I've got Distant Worlds 2 and I've got Age of Wonders. So we've got some big ones for the channel there to talk about. But yeah, Paths of Power, I did mean to play that actually in the lead up. It's only because that only came out this week as well. So yes, we'll definitely talk about what's involved there. So I do actually have Sins of a Solar Empire. Maybe I'll fire that up as well. So there's a lot to cover today. A lot of different things actually happening. You must be aware of Tempest Rising, surely. No, I'm not actually, unless again it's one of those things that I haven't been like that I've got that I'm not really thinking of. I'm not sure what that is. Daz over here activating his brain right before sleeping. Yes, that's pretty much what I do. I tend to, like at the moment, I'm not playing Sudoku. I'm actually reading. So I'm reading The Bulgariad by David Eddings at the moment. So I'm sort of reading through those novels. I've been reading, like the new Reacher show came out on TV, so I read a Reacher book a few days ago. So I sort of I go through phases, but I'll be back to Sudoku in a few days' time, I would imagine. So Garashian saying, I had the same thing with my left shoulder. It hurt. I hurt it in fencing and had to go to physical therapy. It took a year to go away. Do you mean fencing as in building fences, or actually, sword fighting fencing? That sounds pretty crazy. Yeah. I've supposed to go. It took a year to go away. Mine's been basically a year since I've had it. I was given different exercises to do, and so I've been doing them a little bit, but not religiously. Like sort of stretching it by holding on to things and then sort of just trying to relax the shoulder but stretching the actual ligaments in it. Which is saying maybe you need to do some yoga. I did go to a physio about it because it was I didn't know what it was, and but he gave me some things to do. You can get like the shoulder mount thing for the Steam Deck. Hi Mike, how you going? And Mike's saying, just bought Manor Lords on Steam sale, hoping to get some Daz content. I haven't actually played much Manor Lords. I'm going to have to, actually. That's another game that I've got there. Sword fencing, there we go, Garatian, sword fencing. My spouse and I do it for fun once a week. What a great thing to do. Like, I don't think we've got that here in Australia, where there's actually, that'd be fun to do, actually. That'd be really, really interesting. It's sort of... my mind is now going away from fencing to thinking about using sort of like claymores and stuff like that. Pretty more my sort of slow style rather than anything sort of too deft and anything. But that's really cool. That's a really, really cool hobby, I would imagine. Dominic K saying, still surprised you haven't read a Discworld novel. You'd appreciate the humour and the fantasy satire. I think I have started trying to read. I just can't get into it. I did try to read it. That's Terry Pratchett. And I think it's Terry Pratchett, and I just didn't like it when I started reading it. I didn't read very much of it, to be honest. It was it felt like it was trying to be a set in a medieval area, but in a joke way, and I just didn't enjoy it. I prefer there wasn't any immersion in it for me. That's just for me anyway. Gratian saying fencing is fun. I get exercise without it feeling like I'm having to exercise. Yeah, that's the best type of exercise. That's what I find with going to the beach. To be honest, it's I ride my bike to the beach, which means I'm getting a bike ride in, and then I'm only bobbing around and catching waves. But you feel it, which is good. So Dom UK is saying guards is the place to start. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things. The Discworld. I know everyone says it's great. I did try reading one of the books once, and yeah, it just didn't grab me. Yeah, it's like crack cocaine when you finally get into it, says Dom UK. I'll believe you, but I don't know. It's sort of I do have one actually on my reader, but I haven't actually had a read of it. Okay, so Oliver's saying +1 there for that as well. I know a lot of people really do like it, but it's been like that with like it's funny because we were talking about before about Emperor of the Fading Suns, and that was I've recorded a primer / tutorial for the game, and it ended up taking an hour and a half to actually sort of cover it. I'm so impressed with that game, like really, really impressed. Not trying crack cocaine myself, says Dom UK. But with the Emperor of the Fading Suns, I did a live stream of it the other day because I knew that like just a short video just wasn't going to cut it for that game when I started playing it because and I almost didn't take it up because we'd spoken about it a few weeks ago that it was coming, and I thought it was going to be more of a modern remake of the game, but it's sort of what's actually happened. Maybe I'll fire it up and we'll talk about it because and I'll open up like the game that I won't bother showing the cutscenes. The cutscene sort of sets up the game itself, and I won't talk much about Emperor of the Fading Suns, but you can see it's a very, very old-looking game. I'm assuming you can see that, with very limited colour palette, because it really is from the 1990s as the graphics. But what they did is that they've been able to, it's a purpose-built engine for the game, and the engine ended up being able to sort of get the engine to work inside Visual Studio, and so they've been able to patch and do things with the game from that point. So it's like, when did it come out? It came out like sort of 20 odd years ago, nearly 30 years ago, and so in fact it is nearly 30 years ago now that it actually came out, and so it's been around for an awfully long time. The game, from what I have read, launched with an enormous amount of promise, but with it very, very unbalanced. And they've fixed up all the balance issues. They've gone through all the things that people wanted to have looked at, and then sort of started to sort of get into it that way. If I load a save game, I can sort of show the game that I was recording for the primer. I literally only finished recording that. How long ago? About 10 hours ago, I guess. So I did it just before I had dinner and before I went to bed. But I'm really happy with this game. If I just go into load a save game, I've just got this one in through here and just gone okay. This is I'm only a couple of years into the actual game as well, by the way. So this is just showing that there was the symbiotes. How do I sort of describe it in 5 minutes? It's one of these games. It's impossible to describe in a short period of time. Symbiotes are sort of like an alien faction that is trying to take over human worlds. Essentially, this is what they actually are. That's what we have in terms of the messaging in through there. In this instance, what I've got is one of the nobles, and again, I will have the video up at time of launch, so I won't spend too much time with this. This is Byzantium Secundus, which is a world that is the Imperium world. This is actually where the Imperium are housed, like the Imperial forces. We're just one house, and I've moved my noble over here just to do a little bit of scouting. I'll move the noble back again. Now we're seeing different units that are spotted in these different areas as we come back through. We're seeing units over there, seeing more units back into all of these different areas. So we'll just start to move them through. Now that was Byzantium Secundus. Let's just go back into space. I'll just sort of show this one, how this one does work. We have a force in around Byzantium Secundus back in through here. Our home world is back over through here at Kish. And so we end up with, you end up essentially, when you're playing the default game, which is what we're playing, you end up with essentially the same maps, but the maps are enormous. Every planet is a full-blown, almost like a Civ type game on a world, and the worlds are really quite different. So Byzantium Secundus, if I just go back and click on there and right click on the actual planet itself, you can see there. This is actually the areas that we control. This is actually like our embassy on the planet. This is the Imperial planet. We can't attack other forces there, and so everyone has got like a force of troops on this particular world to defend themselves, but they don't really need to unless someone goes rogue. You've got different houses as well. You've got different resources down through here as well that you can sort of then go and grab. If we go back out, and I'm not going to do a very good job of explaining this, but this is the world. There's other locations here. We don't know what this is, so we could go and have a look to see what these actually are. So I've got no idea. But again, every game is going to have the same thing. So once you discover those, that's the discovery. There are ruins on the worlds as well, and you do get random content from that. And so in the last one, I ended up picking up the best loot that I've seen in the game ever. Like I picked up a lot of ships, which is really, really expensive. So at the moment, I think my money is draining away fairly quickly. Yeah, we're draining. Actually, the unit pay. Actually, it's not terrible. Actually. It's not terrible with what we've got, so that's actually still all right. I'll just exit back out of this one, but it's beautifully done with the way that it's presented. The game itself has got like a lot of interesting things that you can then sort of go and do with it. If we just go back across, the scope is unbelievably big. So you've got the Imperium. This is like an Imperium fleet back and through here with dreadnoughts and cruisers and frigates. And so this is, if you can become the Emperor, you can then control these. Or if you become the Regent, you then control them as well and dictate who gets to use these. The idea of the Imperium is that you are trying to ultimately sort of defend against those attacks that we saw with the symbiotes. There's also another alien faction as well, which is making incursions into the actual, into the galaxy. The great houses each control one planet. You can sort of see there with these different colours back and through this other side, like Delphi, Aragon, Estaker, Severus and Kish. These are the 5 great houses with the planets that they control. We can also then land troops on other planets. And so if we go to Kish, I won't spend too much time with this, but at Kish, this is actually, I've got like in space, I've got like I picked up like some Meson star bases, which are really, really powerful. If we go and hover over that one through there, these are incredibly strong and cause like these can really, really damage things. So I happened to pick this up in these things, and I picked multiple of these up in a ruins. So it's sort of it's just an awesome game, and so it does play differently each time. And so what I'm doing through here is I've actually loaded into this particular one a Power Legion, a Noble, another Power Legion, and a Wolf and medium tank ready to go off and drop onto another world. And so I'm going to sort of be sending this one across at some point to one of the other worlds, to then start to sort of take over different areas. But it's a really, really engaging game, and you sort of forget that the graphics look so old, just because of the scope and depth of the game. It's unbelievable. Every planet is like this. If I go and click on this one through here, I do have a ship in orbit around here. If I just go and click on this one through here, I've got a frigate, so I can see what's actually here. So this one is an ice world. If I right click on that one through there, you can see that there's some development somewhere, and we have to then sort of send troops to take this particular world on. But you have to be careful because there's defences that shoot down spaceships and stuff like that as well. So you need to sort of land in safe areas before you do that one. If I go and grab this frigate, for example, and move it across, if I just click on that one through there and move it over to Cadavis. And you can see there that when I moved to Cadavis, there's now a few other ships. Oops, hang on. There's a few ships in space in through here. So if I right-click on this one through here, what we're seeing a whole lot of bulk haulers, along with an assault lander and a frigate, are all coming through there. These bulk haulers are carrying some sort of resource or different resources somewhere else. We don't know where they're probably going to Severus because that's their home world, and so they're moving across into that particular location. Over through here we have the Trade Guild. So the Trade Guild has actually got, again, frigates and a destroyer along with bulk haulers back in through there to transport different goods. If I right-click on Cadavis and have a look on the actual world itself, again we can see this is more like a desert world. So it's really quite big. You've then got to micromanage your forces, and I think that micromanagement hell would be a thing with this game. Like once you sort of really get into it, there's a lot of troops to to look after, and there's a lot of you do need to. Ultimately, you'll have sort of troops all over the place that you're trying to then sort of manage or micromanage, and that I think would be probably the biggest negative of the game. But as I said before, I'm really quite taken by what the game does, and just the scope of the game is very big. Hi Chris, how you going? And Reed. Dominic Kirsting, I always get confused when people say fencing. Why would you want to build garden fences in your spare time? Yeah, I know, that was the first thing in my head was whether it's I was trying to think if that's my go-to is building fences like on a farm or something. Richard Phillips saying, does David Eddings still stand up? I'm reading Gene Wolfe, which is almost the opposite in terms of tone. No, he doesn't actually, I've got to say. It's sort of funny because I'm reading it and it's interesting. It's funny actually talking about books and things like that. I mean, the Belgariad was like it's an old series now, and it's sort of funny because like when you think about it, Tolkien did an incredible job with Lord of the Rings. But the way things, I think one of the biggest changes with the way that fantasy has been written, and Dwarf Fortress is a classic example of this. I was thinking about this the other day, and so we might as well get it back to gaming terms. Dwarf Fortress now, when we play the Steam version, you can end up with goblin liaisons that work for the dwarves, and you can end up with elves that live in dwarven cities, and so on and so forth. Whereas back in the day, that was never the case. Like the dwarves were the dwarves, and they were the enemies of the goblins, and sometimes the elves would become their enemies as well. But not anymore. Now you sort of end up with this mishmash of different sorts of the different races, or not even races, the species, sort of then now sort of live in each other's cities and work with each other. And one might be stolen as a baby, and like a dwarf might be stolen, go to a goblin town, and then grow up as a goblin essentially, but a dwarf inside the goblin area. And I think that modern fantasy books are written the same way, where they blur those lines, whereas the old Tolkien, I guess, was classically, if you were an orc, you were the enemy of humanity, and same with David Eddings, like the different factions that he's got. It's very crisp and clear as to where your alliances stand, just based on the terms of the species or even the race that you're actually from in the books, and I don't mind that. It just makes it simple. So yes, it's not complex. It's not as nuanced as it is in a modern sort of sense, but it is actually. But I just, for a bit of light reading, I find it enjoyable. So I'm just reading it now. But that's sort of where things are. But it's sort of funny with I think that it's actually confusing with games like Dwarf Fortress to then sort of start to see the goblin liaisons coming, or the goblins visiting your town, and you're at peace with that. Of course, there's still going to be a propensity for them to be in criminals or something along those sorts of lines, but you just don't know because the lines are blurred now in the game, and they used not be. So I think yes, it's richer, but it's also a little bit more confusing, I think, for players. And I'm thinking of, again, in terms of Dwarf Fortress, about how that sort of does actually work. Okay, so I'll just keep on reading through. So Reed is saying, I did an illustration of Scary Santa, and somebody commented, Ho Father. I didn't know what it was. Watched it, love it, but not so much any other of Terry's work. Yeah, I don't know what that is. A lot of TV adaptations struggle to capture the magic, says Dom UK. Yeah, I really like I'm guessing you're then talking about Discworld again. I just haven't been able to get into that game, into that book, or the. I think there was some sort of series, but again, it just didn't capture me. Didn't capture me at all. Anyway, let's get out of this one. We'll just go and exit the game. But this is this is coming out in a couple of weeks' time. So in fact, I might as well just load these things up so we can sort of have a bit of a look at them as we get to them. So Emperor of the Fading Suns Enhanced. This is a demo. Yeah, look, if you're even half interested, grab the demo. I don't know how far the demo goes with what you can do, but it's I'm sure you'll be able to play a fair bit of it. It's going to be a cheap game as well because it is just a rehash of the original game, but it's super super engaging. Like it's I know that many of you had mentioned it to me and recommended it, and I just discounted it when I saw the graphics. I thought, nah, that's not for me, but it is for me. It really is. It's sort of one of these. I've been coming home from work or whatever it might be and playing Emperor of the Fading Sun. So that's been for the last 3 or 4 days. That's what I've been sort of just playing in my spare time and just playing like a turn or something like that and just enjoying it, or just restarting to see what differences there are, what's random, what's not. Most of it is not random, like with the way that the setups actually are, but it sort of works. It just works really really well. So anyway, this is coming on the 5th of April. Now that's my time. That means it'll be the 4th of April for you guys, I'm thinking, will be sort of how that one does work. Right, so anyway, that's where it is. And again, it's there is a fairly loyal and sort of very well, there's a loyal fan base for the game. People really do enjoy the base game. So I would say, for me, it's actually a recommendation. It's which I really wasn't expecting. I was thinking I would try it, see if I like it. And as I say, I've got a key to give away next week for this, but I was really blown away by the scope of the game. For a game from the 1990s, which is often the game mechanics of games back in that era, are very, very good, but the actual execution, because of the limitation with technology, is not so good. In this case, I'm not even really noticing the limitations with technology. I'm guessing because it has been rebuilt in certain ways, but I would love to see a modern remake of this. God, it would be good. Like, with modern user interface and user experience sort of applied to it. Sort of getting rid of some of the. There is ways around the various micromanagement. Like you can sort of just put things into like sentry mode, which is really quite cool. There are, in fact, even in the tutorial, I didn't show the way of easily managing your cities, but there's a city screen as well. It's just very, very well done. Very, very well done. So anyway, that's that one through there. So there's nothing much we can sort of show with that particular one. Let's just go and that's the developer there, by the way. So that's just a live stream that I think that he's done at some point, sort of showing different things. But so he streams, I think, weekly, I believe. So this is Andrew, who was, as I say, kindly enough to give me a giveaway key for next week, which is when the game will have launched by that stage. And it will have a video up, a primer/tutorial, which I'm thinking, if you're even half interested, I did do that live stream the other day, which I think covers the game pretty well, at least in the early parts of the game, and same with this tutorial. It's a bit long, but there's a lot to cover in that game. As I say, there's a lot of depth in this particular game. All right, let's get to what I'm not allowed to show the game. I'm not allowed to live stream the game. I'm allowed to do a short pre-recorded video, essentially, but I think what I'll do with Age of Wonders is start it up and then talk a little bit about it. And so what I'll do is I won't play it. What I might do is I might just show part of the character, like the character generation, without actually playing it, or I'll just go to play. I've got to be careful that I don't sort of step on the embargo at all. I'm not allowed to stream it, for example, but I do want to. I'm allowed to tomorrow, and I will be tomorrow. So I will be streaming this tomorrow, and I might just get to the character creation where I'm not actually streaming the game at all. And I know that, look, the devs have certainly been showing the game. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water while this loads up. Yeah, so it always takes a while to load up on my computer. I've got to get an SSD drive to put the Steam stuff on there. Yeah, Richard's saying, yeah, but most fantasy is postmodern now with as you say, morally grey characters. It does get boring after a bit. grim, dark, etc. The problem with Eddings is more lack of depth. Yeah, I can see that. It's sort of like it's very, very shallow. But when you're trying to go to bed or sleep or whatever it is, it's just it's easy reading. We don't see there's any reason to use a ridiculously heavy sword. Even a claymore isn't super heavy. You probably just damage your wrist trying to swing it around a fence post. Says Richard Phillips. Games were more nerdy in the 90s. It's sort of it's a passion project, and the game that it reminds me of in terms of the passion project aspect is Deity Empires. And this game didn't have much development for 25 years, and then they started to build the enhanced version. I'm still hopeful that Deity Empires will come back at some point with the devs sort of thinking, yeah, let's resurrect it again, and let's go and add some more content to it and get it a bit more polished. So that's my hope anyway. So Thor is saying, have you spoken to the new Explorminate guy, Andy? He's supposedly a huge Age of Wonders fan. No, I don't know Andy, actually, sorry. I don't think I do anyway. Gratian saying, your life will be much better once you switch to only SSDs. Yeah, I know. Well, I've got an SSD for my recordings, and I'm thinking I've sort of wasted that a little bit. The video content goes into an SSD drive, and I don't know if I need it to go to that, but I'm not sure. I've got a couple of SSD drives, and I've got this a large just normal hard drive, which is what I use for Steam. So Steam and a whole lot of other things are sort of on one drive, and then other things are doing other things. So maybe I should look at moving it across. I'll have to have a look. I can't remember how big the SSD drives are that I've got. Anyway, we'll just load this up. Need to. Justin Kipper is then saying, I need to finish my current Age of Wonders 4 game today before the DLC hits tomorrow and breaks the save. Yes, it's sort of like if you're getting into the DLCs, this of course is the next iteration, or the next wave of DLCs is about to hit now. And so following Giant Kings, we then have the Archons, and I'm really looking forward to that, like enormously. I'll talk without playing the game. What I might do is I might just load up a screen or something like that and just sort of show it. Again, I'm very mindful of not actually showing specific content or actual gameplay. Maybe sort of show a little bit of the the setup for a game with this as well. I don't I think I've got some saves. I'll see if I've got a save somewhere that will at least get us in, so I can sort of just at least show some of the new things that are coming with it. So I'll just use it as almost like a screenshot rather than actually playing it. So it won't be a playthrough, it won't be a live stream, and in the sense that I'm not going to be showing an actual game. I'm just going to be doing a little bit of an introduction, I guess, into what it's actually going to be doing when it does actually come. So I don't think I'm stepping on the embargo. I've got to be careful that I don't. I really don't want to be sort of going beyond what I'm allowed to show. Gretchen saying, put everything on SSD, operating system, games, videos. It's just they're expensive. That's all. My wallet can't cope with all SSDs. But certainly the loading things off Steam is quite onerous, I've got to say. Does updates break previous saves? Well, there's a big update as well for the game as well, and maybe we'll look at Steam mainly for what there is. But I just want to talk a little bit about what you get with this DLC, because some of you may not want it as well. That's the other thing. The thing I've got to say, and I'll try to sort of get there when I open it up, because I hope I've got a screen that will show it, or like a game I can just load up and sort of show a portion of what this DLC does tend to sort of bring. And I think that the update will bring a lot of this as well. Just the base immersion of the game is improved. And I'm actually pretty much okay with that. It's not like dramatically different, which is actually good. So what they've done is they've polished up. I'll just go and skip this. So this is a giant king or queen in this instance that I've created. If I just go across and if I go and load a game, I'll just see what I've got. So I've just been testing different things. The Dharma's Ice Heart, I'm not sure. It's not those. These are. This is one that I did actually have. If I go to the autosave exit, this is only 5 turns in. This one possibly will be. I forget which ones I've got. So this is sort of like the load up for the actual game itself. If I just go and load the game, I'll just see if this was the one that I wanted to talk about. God, the graphics are beautiful in this game. They've done such a good job of Age of Wonders. Now, this is one of the giants here. This is the giant, another one of the giants that we sort of created. One of the interesting things, you'll notice that there's no real expression in their faces. These are just sort of, like they're just big, cumbersome giants. They're very, very limited in the sense of their personality, and it sort of comes through with the way that they sort of then go and work. This is a fire giant. I don't think I've got the underground, and it was more the underground that I was wanting to show. Okay, we've got, so yeah, I don't have a real lot. This is a new thing in the game. So I'll just show aspects of the game. So with the giant kings, you end up with a crystal area here, which essentially gives you quests. And this is an interesting dynamic of the game, which will be, it's sort of a different way of playing. So when you actually talk with this particular location, you can then go and do quests for them, which then gets you closer to them being, a vassal or whatever it might be, sort of more connected with them. So, or in this case, a truce. So the crystal dwelling tolerates you. It counts as a neutral state. So you cannot assign a Whispering Stone to crystal dwellings. Instead, completing quests will let you reach higher diplomatic states and eventually an eternal pact. So it's more immersive content with the way that this actually works. That's one thing. Now, I don't know if we'll see it here. The underground, you'll notice that there's actually now, and I think this is actually some of the newer content, and I can't show all of the stuff here, but down in through here, look at the changes to the actual biomes underground. So the underground has taken, I think that the update itself, the free update that's going to come with it, is going to really make the underground a lot more immersive. And apparently they've done a lot of work on trying to get the underground to work in a much, much more cohesive way just in the base game, which I think is great. And so we're seeing sort of like different, almost like a different look and different biome to this. And there's a fair few of these when you start to sort of play them, and I can't really sort of show much with these. I definitely won't play any of the actual game because that would then break the embargo. But I wanted to show the scope of what's going to be coming tomorrow. So that's another aspect that I found really quite fun to explore. Like it sort of like it felt fresh and new the way it was sort of then working. I'll just go back up top again. And so there's that aspect as well. And even with the giant kings themselves, this is the city that we end up having. So we've only just sort of started this one through here. So this is a fire giant, this particular unit. If I right-click on the fire giant himself. And so you can get a thing I really like is just no personality in their faces. And it sort of just works for these giants. They're not angry, they're not... they're not caring. They just do their giant stuff. It's really quite funny, and they have their own way of being as well. If we go into the actual updates, so the giant kings themselves have got like the giant kings when you set them up. And again, I won't set up a game because again that would be breaking the embargo. But just sort of showing what they do actually have. They've got like their own. This is in case a disenchanter. This one grants 35% binding essence and fragments. So if they think of them a little bit like Faustus or Vulcan, like the god Vulcan, like the one with on the forge and stuff like that. So these are giants or demigods type things that are generally good at forging things, and so the item forge can become important for some of these giants. And sometimes you'll start off with the item forge already in your castle playing as one of these giants. They've got different themes as they go through, and so this one here is if you go down through Disenchanter, you get more binding essence and fragments. rune of power for fire. So gain access to the rune of fire infusion in the item forge, which allows you then to create fire weapons. Over through here, you've got this is rune of protection. So again, you'll have different sorts of infusions for building fire protective type equipment. Rune of command for fire and through here. So you got these. You can see that the focus here is on fire because we're playing as a fire giant. And so I'll open up the other game that I had saved as well, which was a storm giant. And so she was a giantess, essentially. And so in this case, I've got the giant kings, conjure an animated fire sword. You've got impactful animated weapons down through this other side. You've got conjure animated lava hammer, things like there's different ways of working. Hurl flames at targets as well, which do a lot of damage. And so the giants, they do feel very good, but not game breaking. Like in the I guess the dragons, when the dragons first came in, really felt very, very different. These don't feel that different, and I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest. It's this is actually it's sort of, it feels comfortable. It's like sort of putting on an old shoe, like when you actually play this one. And as I said before, it doesn't break the mold, and it's not difficult to get into. And I found it really quite enjoyable playing as the giant kings in the testing that I've done. You've then got different classes. In this case, we've just got the warrior class, which you can go through there as well, and then you've got the signature skills that sort of do come back through. So I won't spend too much time with that one. Let's just go and close that one off. So this is this particular giant. Again, you're going to have different sorts of I really like that they just don't have any personality. It's just bored. They're just really, really bored. But it just works. Anyway, let's just close that one off. I'll go and open up the other one. So if I just press escape, load game, and Tiorna Cloud Driver. If I just go back into this one through here. Again, I've just been playing some of the new maps. So the Crystal Dwelling is a new thing that's come through with Giant Kings. You also then have this one as well, which is the Legends of Murder, which again is sort of like a giant kingdom, which is what we're sort of playing with. And there's also things like there are fated regions present on the map which offer quest change. Maybe we can. I see this one I've gone a little bit further in, not very far, but just a little bit. Just load the game in. So, Commodrum, back in through here is where we are. Oh, Rulers in the Void. Okay, I don't know what's happened there. I'll just go and load in one of the previous ones. I'm not sure what happened there. Got to turn 10, load the game. I might have been experimenting with something. All right, so in this case, yeah, so I've got her, she's actually now walking through the water. I was experimenting to see what would happen in combat, in water combat. That's why she's not there anymore. So she was going in to do this impossible battle. The interesting thing with her is that the giants in the water don't go on boats. They just wade through water, no matter where the water actually is. And you can see through her with her there. Again, a really sort of like just a really disinterested look to what they actually have. Still has a lot of the same things that you'll find with the other normal sort of factions or the normal sorts of leaders with what actually is going on through this other side. If we just go across and go to her update, you'll sort of see again with the Giant Kings. So she is she's got this is again the Binding Essence, and then she has Storm Power, because she's a storm giant. So you've got different classes of giants. You've got like rock giants, things like that. And so in this case, she has like storm power that she can then sort of infuse into various equipment. Standard sort of Giant King stuff in through there. In this case, she hurls lightning rather than fire. So it's fairly simple to play as a Giant King. That's what I'm trying to sort of say. It's not a completely relearn everything type exercise. I've gone with a few of these. I've got, have I done that one there? I think I've done that one there. I've got the Lightning Invoker. Yeah, I have. Lightning Evocation there. So she's sort of heading down this path. She could have gone with fire as well. But this is, so she's a Spellblade. and so she's essentially a warrior slash mage. And I was just experimenting with different things, as I said before, with different ways of playing the game. If I go and close that one off, and I'll just see if I can look underground here again as well. I'm not sure if she's explored much underground. As I said, I was pretty taken by by what I did see. Yeah, this is actually what I did want to show. So we've got, this is like part of the underground now as well. It just feels really, really cool. And so this is just essentially bedrock, but it's now been done to make it look like it's actually some sort of gate underground that sort of is then protecting a zone that we can't break through into. So we can't get into this area, into here. And you can see it's sort of got like a structure that is protecting this whole zone. Like there's actually a zone in there. I don't know if there's a way in there. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it. It's sort of under here somewhere. So I'm not sure how you break into that. But it's, as I said before, they've done a lot of work, and I think that this is actually going to be just becoming in the update. But you can see there the rock walls are sort of like forming a shape. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but it's sort of forming like an interesting shape there. But I'm not sure how we get into that. Looks like there's some sort of gate there, but that we can actually open it up. Yeah, it would have to be sort of explored, I guess. But it sort of makes the underground so much more interesting now, the way it sort of works. Also, what they've tried to do, I think, is try to make the underground, if I sort of zoom back a little bit, we can sort of then get vague shapes. But they've made it so that there's more you can do in the underground. And you should be able, most things are able to be connected through, so you can sort of end up sort of moving through. And again, look at this shape in through here. We've got like a completely different sort of shape that's sort of then being created underground. So you've got like almost like biomes underground as well, which is it's little things, but the immersion for me playing with this DLC was actually, you know, I could see initially I'm thinking there's not a real lot of content that came with this, but it does enhance the gameplay, and it enhances it in really quite a nice way. So I'm looking forward to playing that. So I won't play any of this, but I will actually, and I'll leave that where that is now, and we'll just go and exit the game, and I'll just open that up there. So I'll be streaming that tomorrow when I'm allowed to. So we'll just go back across to Age of Wonders. And I think it's going to be a fair few months before the next, before we end up with the next DLC coming out. So yeah, again, they're just sort of showing the various. This is expansion pass 2 out now. So this is going to be, if you're wanting to sort of get all of the coming DLC, I'm really looking forward to the Archons. They were my favourite faction back in Age of Wonders 2. I absolutely love them. Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to playing with those, which is sort of like, yeah, in fact, we've got, so yeah, Giant Kings is now sort of coming basically as of tomorrow. So I'll be able to stream that tomorrow. I think I'm streaming it slightly before the launch. I'm allowed to, I've sort of got in my notes, I'm allowed to stream it basically as soon as I wake up. So, and then I think that the game launches a few hours after that. So, yeah, definitely be streaming that one tomorrow. And probably a fair bit over the coming week as well, to be honest. I'll probably end up doing multiple streams at different unusual times as well. So I will be playing that one a fair bit, I would imagine. Now, what else do we have through this other side? So if we just go back into the actual Giant Kings DLC. So it is coming, of course. Just get rid of this message. All right, so it requires the base game Age of Wonders 4 on Steam in order to play. Got the announcement trailer. I won't sort of go and show these different things, but there's as I said before, a range of different types of giants with different themes. But then you can also you can specialise in either being sort of more magical or more, you know, raw aggression. The raw aggression for me sort of feels more thematic for the giants, more so than them sort of being magical. When they are magical, they carry these sort of tours around with them to actually then go and, or these what are they called? Plinths or whatever they might be, to sort of then as almost like a magical sort of rock that they take around with them to cast their magic. Yeah, so we restore the elder giants to their rightful place as master of the astral sea in the Age of Wonders 4 Giant Kings expansion. Explore the ruins of their fallen empire, seek out forgotten crystal magic to empower your armies, and delve into the depths of lost treasures. This expansion introduces a new giant ruler type, a powerful new dwelling, and an array of handcrafted regions to explore. Okay, it looks like the handcrafted regions. There's other regions on the surface, and I had a quick look to see when we opened it up, but I couldn't see any of them there. There are themed regions now on the surface as well as underground. Okay, Sin is a mighty giant king, ruling over mortals with unmatched power. Possess terraforming abilities, can use item forge right from the start. Yeah, so these are certainly sort of able to forge things. You can see the different types of giants you can then go and create. They're really quite cool. New crystal dwelling, we saw that one before as well, where they give you different quests. Landmark regions, so new massive regions will appear in your realm that you can annex to your empire for economic benefit. Magnificent waterfalls, the remains of ancient dragons, majestic. So there's just more content. It's just more immersive on the actual game itself. Handcrafted regions. So furthermore, the worlds of the Astral Sea has been enriched with the addition of 38 meticulously crafted decorative regions that have been seamlessly integrated into the existing environments. Shop structures, so merchants now roam the land, offering powerful services and rare goods. Visit one of 3 shops types to purchase, so hero equipment, mounts. So these will be different sorts of merchants, which is really cool. Didn't realise that was part of this DLC actually. So we've got that one through. I haven't come across them yet. Faded regions. Looks very, very interesting. This is sort of like takes the themed regions into much broader context. So a new realm trait, Legends of Murder, introduces 9 unique story-driven regions, each linked to a forgotten history of the giants. Back in through there. New wildlife and units, so 5 Litharine units, which are sort of more rock-type creatures. Primordial units, colossal Tier 5 beasts, stand ready to challenge player to combat in Ancient Wonders. So there's a whole lot of different stuff in through there. 2 new tomes, the Tome of the Dungeon Depths, build a grand underground empire and protect it at all costs. That's probably what I'll end up playing, to be honest. I think I'll, just because the underground has changed so much. And then the Tome of Geomancy, so transform your units into beings of a geomantic crystal, attuned to the energies of the earth to supercharge them. And then we have additional content, 3 new realm traits, a new realm template, 2 new Ancient Wonders, 4 new music tracks from the composer, and a new interface skin. So a lot of immersion really is what it is. Not a hell of a lot of different content. So we're not looking at different game mechanics, but we're looking at more of the existing game mechanics, but just done in a broader way. And as I said before, when I started playing it, I was really happy to see that, and just from a gameplay perspective, I was thinking, oh, this feels like a really like a deeper game now, just with the way with what they've actually added. Let's go back out to the base game and just see if there's information about the update as well. Let's go into the news, Community Hub. Ogre update, patch notes, and Giant King highlights. So this came out yesterday by the looks of things. So everything you need to know about the release tomorrow. Here we are. So we'll just go through this as well. So the Ogre update is going to be it's sort of an unusual name because the Ogres were the last DLC or one of the last DLCs to come in. But anyway, so dear God, the Giant Kings and Ogre update will be released tomorrow to make sure that you have all the important information. So the Ogre update patch highlights. So feudal authority, the feudal realms. I'm thinking of playing this as well. The feudal culture has been updated and now supports 2 different forms of authority. Feudal monarchy is a default, and feudal subculture, and provides the most direct system of control. The ruler is undisputed and grants powerful benefits to their accompanying force. Feudal aristocracy must maintain a balance of power disseminated between the players' cities. In doing so, each house can field their own army effectively and exceptionally cheaply, as long as the units in that army belong to that house. And so, essentially, the different ways of playing feudal now, the feudal aristocracy is a little bit more like Game of Thrones, where you've got like the each city is then sort of its own entity, and they sort of like become the bannermen of the actual feudal lord. And so the feudal has really had a lot of work done to it. I think even the actual units within feudal have also changed a little bit, and you've got some that are a bit cheaper now to go and get. Siege update. The siege system exists to ensure players cannot rush the conquest of cities and grants defending players time to assemble armies to defend. It also is designed to grant, this is actually what they've always had with the game. I remember because when I first started playing Age of Wonders 4 when it first came out, I was worried about that I was leaving cities unprotected, but the devs had sort of said, yeah, but just start playing it a bit and you'll find that you do have time to get back to the cities to protect them, and sure enough, they were 100% correct. So anyway, it says it was also designed to grant an epic conclusive battle to conquest in the form of a siege battle. Throughout the game's life, the system has achieved its goal of stopping rushing, but has not achieved its goal of creating epic conclusions of conquest, and has been met with plenty of frustrations. Yes, I think a lot of players don't like the time it takes to play these things out. I actually like them personally, but anyway. We've given sieges a pass with the main aim to increase the amount of battles being fought on the city siege map, with siege projects and defence effects active, reduce the maximum amounts of fortification health and fortification damage players can accumulate, and lower the average time sieges take. Okay, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Lava gameplay. We hinted at it in discussing the post-release roadmap in 2023. This update, we're introducing lava gameplay. Lava in Age of Wonders 4 used to be identical to the void hexes, completely unpassable and unusable for empires and units, having the role of being a dead space. However, there are plenty of fire-related fantasies a player can create within their race and empire. Therefore, we wanted to make lava into something that could be explored and exploited, just like a forest or a mountain. Okay, that's interesting. So I haven't seen that yet. Underground generation. We've taken another look at the way underground is generated and determined it wasn't providing the desired gameplay experience. We spoke about that when we were looking at the actual map. Originally, we tried to achieve an underground generation that would work both for players that started on the surface and wanted to explore the underground for treasure, and for players who wanted to build an empire in the network of caverns in the underground. By trying to go for two target experiences at once, we instead landed on a generation that couldn't comfortably achieve either. So we've changed course, which is cool. I like that because I never really enjoyed playing underground because you felt limited. In your growth. So it'd be interesting to see that. That's why I'm sort of thinking I wouldn't mind playing as a rock giant or something like that when we do start to play, maybe as the dwarves. So play a dwarf run with a rock giant ruler. So I'm thinking that's probably what I'll play tomorrow. Quality of life and more. So with each major update, there's always more to share than we have space to dedicate it to. Everything we've covered above is only the tip of the litherite peaks. The litherites essentially are the elemental units. So giants are natural world shapers and terraformers, so we've found it only appropriate to send some love to the world map with a ton of visual improvements, brand new combat maps and brand new ancient wonder events. In the realm of quality of life improvements, we offer features such as outpost renaming, combat banner resizing, and to do event, I'm not sure what all that is, to be honest. We'll find that out tomorrow, I'm guessing. Faction creation updates, added a custom horse visuals, with different horse mounts, added voice overrides. Okay, yeah, you'll see this when I think it's been around for a little while. Maybe I don't know if I've shown this before. Anyway, this is old stuff. Like if it's old, it's old. If you've been playing the open beta, I guess. And a lightning button. A lot of this is to do with building your faction. So it looks. You can see what your ruler or race looks like in different environments, and that's you can just turn on off lights essentially in the creation side of things. Again, just sort of more quality of life things that you can then go and do. Expanded body customization options, body shape selectors. It's just a different way of building things, and it works well. It's funny because I thought I've been showing this one for quite some time, to be honest, but maybe I have been. I'm not sure. Pantheon update, added 30 new Pantheon rewards to unlock, 2 mounts for your race and ruler, 6 hero starting layouts. I'll look at all this tomorrow actually, because I do like to unlock these, and I've got a fair few ready to unlock. So we'll sort of start off by doing that, I think. Item Forge update and through there as well. Item forging has a few new features that impact the balance of the game. Chief among these is the ease of access for high tier items, particularly weapons. They benefit significantly more from the tier increase due to gaining damage based on it. With this item forge rebalance, we're addressing both the accessibility and the speed at which items can be crafted, and much, much more. There is a lot coming with this patch. So this is a free update. Read the full patch notes there in big bold letters. And so then we've got the Giant Kings update, which we sort of had covered. So I won't go through all of this different sorts of stuff, but there are, of course, a lot of content that the devs have been putting out about the actual game itself. All right, so that's coming tomorrow. That's what we're going to be sort of playing tomorrow. So we've got that one there. The other big thing that's coming this week is, of course, Distant Worlds 2. So we'll just go back into, we'll have a look at Distant Worlds 2. Just have a quick look and see if there's any other comments there about that. Do you want another season pass after this one is finished? Says Chris. Do I want? I get the content early because I'm sort of in there, so I don't actually need the season pass as such. I would suggest getting it because the DLCs are going to be coming. This DLC is minor. Like what they tend to do is do a minor, major with the way that they handle their DLC. This would be one of the ones that they would consider a minor DLC in the terms that it's not really changing things dramatically, but the Archons will change things dramatically. So the Archons will be a major one. So yeah, I would think that would probably be the way to do it. Maker Fishman was saying, so exciting. CGS congratulations on getting early access. Seems like this X-Pack is going to be a good one. Yeah, I'm really happy that it just enhanced the game rather than trying to break the mold. And I sort of found that I didn't really the Ogre update. I found a little bit not the update, but the Ogre DLC. Sort of bringing in the Eastern style of doing different things didn't really grab me all that much, to be honest. That's probably the weakest of the DLC so far. But I do really like playing the Giants. So I found it just the world seemed much more rich and alive playing as them. So I did really quite enjoy that. So Richard's saying to SSD. Sorry, I'm missing where I'm up to. So Reader's in saying, I recently started to play free Civ. I can't find if you've played any of the Civ games. You don't like them. I don't have access to the new one. They didn't give me access to it, so I'm not going to bother covering the new Civ. Also, it rates pretty poorly. Other Civ games I've covered them a little bit, but not a hell of a lot. As was mentioned there, Garation says Daz hates eras. I do dislike eras a lot, to be honest. It's sort of one of those things that I've never really enjoyed games with eras, and so Civ is sort of based around that one. I don't know. It's just a game that I know it's a massive game, but I just never been really grabbed by it. I've just found other games like Age of Wonders to be so much better, in my opinion. Dom is saying, so ironically, free Civ doesn't have eras, does it? It's more like Civ 2, I think. Yeah, I've got no idea. I have played free Civ, but yeah, it's sort of, again, there's too many games coming out at the moment. Tiger Russ is saying, I was reading Steam reviews. Is there a problem with late game and freezes? Looking to get the game finally. I haven't had any problems with it. This is Age of Wonders, I'm guessing you're talking about. I haven't had any issues at all with the game. Spellblade Giant would be that should be fun, says Coffee. Yeah, that's like you've got a fair few different classes that you can do with that. And tomorrow I won't open it up again because I was already sort of skirting close to sort of breaking the embargo by sort of showing the actual game rather than actually having pre-recorded content. But I didn't actually show anything other than just sort of like sort of static screens. Yes, Spellblade Giants. Yeah, I was wanting to sort of test a few different sorts of things out when I've been playing it over the last few weeks. I've had the game for a couple of weeks. So Diamond's saying, cheers, Daz and chat. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for that one. So Xeno Patch 5 has gone live. Yes, okay, so that we'll maybe have a look at that as well because that's actually in the I thought that had gone out a few weeks ago, but we'll have a look at that as well. That's Xenonauts. Richards is saying, I think it's a shame that they did that mix and match thing with cultures in Age of Wonders 4. Never really felt totally immersed, even though it's the best in any genre mechanic-wise. Yeah, it's sort of, I like where they are with it now, but they do cop a lot of flack about that. And so tomorrow, I think when we start off, I'll go through and address that sort of stuff. I find it still very, very good, the way that it's sort of all been worked out. So it's for me, it's sort of it's still my favourite game, basically, Age of Wonders 4. Chris is saying, so I meant, do you want a third set of DLCs? I want a third set of DLCs? I'm not sure what you mean, sorry, Chris. I'm just not understanding the thrust of your argument there, or your conversation. I'm not sure what you mean by it. Like, does the game need it? Probably not. I'm looking forward to the Archons, just because I really, really loved them in the original game. So I'm sort of looking forward to that one. Is it going to get DLC bloat? Possibly. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens, I guess. So Matthew is saying, how is mixing and matching culture immersive? It dilutes everything and makes everything the same, just like in real life. So mixing and matching cultures, well, it's up to you how you want to play the game. Now, by default, the game has got sort of like preset things it likes to do. And so you can still create like a very thematic game for yourself, or you can completely break it. It's completely up to you. You can have super powerful halflings, or you can have very, very weak orcs, which isn't going to be a very immersive game to play. But it's up to you to set that if you're going to do that. The game on its own doesn't do that. The game has actually got preset, or it's got like a selection of different things it will then use for different factions, which I think is good. So I think it still sort of works with the way it does work. It's not perfect, but it's still good. Okay, Tiger Russ is saying, I hate Civ 7, and Thor is saying, I really like Civ 7. And Marin's saying the Xenonauts 2 final update soon. I'll have a look at that in just a minute. We'll look at Distant Worlds first, and then we'll have a look at that. But like all previous civs, it will not be good before one or two big expansions. And Sprocket Ticklebottom saying, will everyone be able to make Spellblade Daz? Yes, it's just one of the. I'll probably play as that tomorrow if that's what people want to see. Spellblade has been around for, I don't know if it's the because I've had the updates. I've been able to play Spellblade before I had the Giant Kings, so they've certainly been around for a little while, but it may be because I've got advanced versions of the game that I've been playing, so that may be what it is. Hi Michael, how you going? Jerry's saying hi everyone, and Drexy's saying something puts me off Age of Wonders 4, just can't put my finger on it. A lot of people actually say that. I think that when the game launched, a lot of the people just thought the factions were bland. Just the way it sort of had been structured, that they didn't really have their own personality, and I can see that. I think that comes down to how you approach the game, but a lot of people do say that one. Thor is then saying, not sure this one can be, it's such a fundamental departure at its core, so I'm not sure what you're talking about there. So I think you guys are still talking about Civ 7. Haven't played in a year, says Sprocket. Yeah, okay, Civ 7 ain't even a civilization game anymore. Not sure who they made it for. So Derna's saying Age of Wonders 4 came out feeling like a scaffolding. Yeah, I'm guessing with the actual, they are chassis, aren't they? The actual factions or the actual races are just a chassis. This is the first Civ I find boring. No sandbox. Yeah, so again, I haven't played Civ. I don't actually have it. Really missed the unit mods from Planetfall. Otherwise, really like Age of Wonders 4. A lot of people have said that as well, where the actual modding system, it was actually very, very cool. And it sort of was. I mean, you've sort of got that a little bit with the way the tomes work and with the with what you can do with your actual overall faction. But again, other people are saying, look, I prefer to be just applying it to specific unit types and then building those unit types, which I can see that as well. I think there's arguments both ways with all of these different things. Chris is saying, Daz, I'm asking if you hope that they continue to release new DLCs after the Archon DLC. I personally hope that they do. They will be. There's actually they've got a plan. I forget what the other ones are that are going to be following the Archons, but there are plans for more. So definitely more on the way. And yeah, I welcome that, but I'm also mindful that it may then become just too much for people. Like a lot of the Paradox games, you just end up, playing catch up, trying to get the different DLCs and never really, really never catch up again. So Matthew's saying, yeah, everyone hates everything until they're looking at it through the nostalgia lens. That's very true, actually. Tenor is saying, I know what puts me off about Age of Wonders 4, bare bones release plus DLC bloat. The DLC bloat, I think that's going to come down to how often you play it. Like for me, I love the DLCs in the game, but I play it a lot. Like it's my favourite game. So, but I can see that people who play it casually would start to sort of think, oh, do I really need all this DLC? And the answer probably is no. To be honest, there's some DLCs that aren't that great. I'll skip past the Civ conversations there, guys. I'll just skip past those. Were you allowed to say that, says Daz? Yeah, I'm not under any... I can talk about whatever I feel like talking about. So I never, like, to be honest, like, just to put it out there, if a dev ever tells me I'm not allowed to say something or do something, I'm not going to be sort of doing anything with that developer. It's much more important for me to be able to be honest about what I think about a game than for me to make a developer happy. I sort of see my role with what I do with this channel is more about you guys than about developers, and I'm very open with developers about that. And to be honest, most of the developers say, look, positive or negative, like it's good to actually have an honest appraisal, because one thing I find that with that, it's like I like reading negative reviews on Steam about games, and because I can then sort of think, okay, is that going to impact me or not? And if it's not, then I'm probably going to like the game. And so I find the negative reviews actually better than the positive reviews in terms of me deciding whether I want to be playing a game or not. So it's sort of it's one of those sort of funny things. But yeah, no, I'm under no compulsion to sugarcoat anything. I always say if I've got sponsored content or anything, because then you sort of there may be a subconscious thing where I'm trying to be a bit more positive or put a positive slant on a game, and I'm mindful of that bias, and so I do sort of say that just so you can actually think, okay, there may be an unconscious bias there, but I try not to have that. Okay, so as I say, I'll skip past all of the Civ comments. I think I'll try next time to play Age of Wonders 4 to turn off the unit banners. Is that possible? Yeah, I think it is. I used to play it that way. I don't mind it at all, but it sort of does get in the way a little bit. I now look at the banners, but also at the ranking of the units, and if they're above rank 2, 1 and 2 are going to be playing very vanilla, but 3 and above play with nuance. So you can actually look at the rank as well as the actual banner itself, and sort of be able to think, okay, I really need to focus on these tier 3, 4 and 5 units, because they're going to be playing differently than what their banner shows, or they're going to be playing with nuance with their banner. But anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow when we start to play that one. So Tenor is saying DLC bloat is why I gave up on Stellaris and switched to Distant Worlds 2, even though I struggle with war in Distant Worlds 2. So Coonwork is saying a better campaign with some fleshed out leaders, nations would have given some of the extra flavour to Age of Wonders 4. There are campaigns in it, but I don't play them. I just play the random maps. I like the random maps. So Thor is saying a better ship designer in Distant Worlds 2 would beat all previous space empires out of the sky. Yeah, it's complex. Distant Worlds 2 is complex. Let's talk about Distant Worlds 2. Let's go across now and switch across to that one. So Distant Worlds 2 has got a new DLC coming. It's not on special at this stage. The base game does go on special a bit nowadays, and it's been as much as 50% off, I think. It's usually I think it's been as much as 60% off with one of the specials, but sometimes when they have it on special, it goes down to 50%. So I'm not sure if this is going to be on special with the release of the DLC. So we have so we've got the Artux and Wecarus are now coming on the 4th of April. So we're looking at sort of like in a few days' time. So it's the first for me. So in 3 or 4 days. Now I'll be streaming this a lot after this date. so I'll probably end up sort of trying to squeeze in as much Age of Wonders as content as I can. But when we sort of think about it, I've got Fortress Friday, which I played Dwarf Fortress on. I've got Wednesdays as I'll be playing this. This will be because I've got the Worldly Wednesdays, which is when I play sort of like Space 4X type games, and at the moment Distant Worlds 2 is that. I'll continue playing the Wecarus. I might just fire the game up because I'm really impressed with this DLC, to be honest. And it's a DLC I wasn't really looking forward to all that much because I don't really like the Artooks from the original game, but I really quite like them in this one again. Like it's interesting how with a little bit of a different mindset going in, and I don't know. It was one of you guys actually said you got to think of them like they're the Warhammer 40,000 orcs with the chaotic sort of nature that they have, and that was a big part of me just getting my head around how to actually then play the game. And actually another question I get is it worth going back and playing Distant Worlds Universe or these older games? No, it's not. So don't bother with the old games. It's just not going to do it. The Distant Worlds 2 really is where the game absolutely shines. Let's go and open her up, and it's now getting recent reviews. We're now into the 80%, which is good. Which is the game really should be in the high 80%, in my opinion. Not in the lowish areas. It's just the complexity of the game is very high, or it appears to be high. And so I'm hoping that they will actually do more to address that. Things like the ship designer, for example. Let's just go and fire it up. So this is, and I do actually have the DLC. I'm allowed to show it as of last week. So I've been streaming this a fair bit. And we'll let this one load in. Where have we got? We've got Thor's saying about ship designer. We've done that one. Matthew's into saying bloke DLC is what keeps me from Paradox games mostly. You always have two camps though. Too much DLC won't play. Gamers abandon and pretend won't play. Yeah, that's true. Coonworker saying, I mean, the people who are asking for more established races are probably looking for a campaign story. Only really play those worlds for the challenge. Terrace is in saying, which of the remaining 7 races in Distant Worlds 2 are you looking forward to being made playable, Daz? 2 of them in particular, actually. The Kydians I really loved in the first game. I keep on forgetting about them, but they were, I think, my favourite faction in the original game. Actually, were the Kydians, which are very, very research oriented, and also the Securans I quite liked as well. They were sort of like a very peaceful race, but they like they almost seemed extremely judgmental, which meant they ended up in combat, but from a perspective of where they were trying to almost be sort of like Templars, you know, of trying to sort of dominate the galaxy and make it all peaceful under their rule, which I quite liked. So Drex is saying, don't forget you've got an interview on Thursday. Also, the Wecarus is my new favourite faction. Yeah, it's Drexy's involved with Explorminate, and so I'm going to be doing a interview with Explorminate, also with like on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that as well. There's a lot of stuff coming up this week, so we've got a lot of different things actually sort of happening through here. But I will be squeezing in games. I'll probably even sort of be sort of streaming them outside of my normal hours because there's just so much coming this week. But it's mainly going to be, as of tomorrow, it's going to be Distant Worlds Age of Wonders, and then Distant Worlds to the back end of the week. I'll be playing that through the end of the week as well. Reader's saying, Daz, have you played tabletop strategy games like Kriegspiel? I haven't played Kriegspiel. I don't know that one. I tend to play a lot of board games with my family. Particularly, I've got family interstate, and whenever I go interstate, there's always a day put aside to play board games, which is great. So my nephew and his girlfriend in particular are really, really into, and my daughter in Melbourne as well. They all love board games, and so they've all got different games. But my nephew in particular has got just a heap of games, and so we tend to sort of have like a day of just playing games. Which I really do enjoy, and I forget the names of them, but like they always bring out these weird and wonderful games to play. But I do enjoy them. Not so much. It doesn't have to be strategy games, but just I just do enjoy board games, particularly more modern board games. You know, they're quite good fun. Dom UK is in saying, I don't like playing the Securans, but love having them in the game as another empire. Yeah, they are good to have around, particularly if you're playing as the humans. Oliver Weedman is saying a lot of Part 2 games are just the better ones. In Part 1, the idea was tested, and in Part 2, many faults have been deleted. In Part 3, devs start to play around it and make it worse. That's very true. As you were saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, Master of Orion, like that's exactly what happened there. Master of Orion 1 and 2 were great, and Master of Orion 3 was terrible. Yeah, it happens so often, doesn't it? Jason saying, I've just spent all day Saturday at the game shop with friends playing board games. Yeah, good times. It is good. It's great, actually. So anyway, let's have a look at this one. I'll just go and continue the game I'm currently playing. So I've actually got a... I'll just load the game in. What am I up to? Not sure why that's... why it's an autosave. I can't remember where we got to. This is the Wekera. So I'll show you the Artuk. So, and I don't know if I showed this last week, but I didn't do it at ChatTactic last week. So the Artuks are really different to play, and I won't do a deep dive into this, but I'll just go and load in this particular game. The thing I'm really taken by with the Artuks is the actual ship design. Is my favourite ship designs in the whole game now. Just in the way that they sort of look. They look incredibly good. I can't remember if I showed this on ChatTactic, or whether it was just as part of a live stream that I was doing. May have just been a Distant Worlds 2 live stream, I think. So Kuhnwick is saying DLC used to mean that you already a good base game gets enhanced with something new. Paradox lately likes to use it as an excuse to fix terrible design choices that should not have been in the base game. I don't know, actually. I think it's more nuanced than that. I think that when you've got like a niche game, and Paradox games, when they started making DLC for them, were very, very niche. And it was a way for them to sort of keep getting money for games that weren't really mainstream. But their games are more mainstream now, and they're still using the same approach. And I don't know. It's I think that the DLC bloat is a problem in that sort of sense. With the way that Paradox sort of does approach, it's sort of too much. But then again, I look at games like Gladius, that Slytherin put out. I'm thinking, that's another publishing company that has got some amazing strategy games. In fact, Distant Worlds 2 is from their stable of games, and they do also, like in games like Gladius, you can't get enough of the DLCs. The DLCs are great in that game, and you sort of want more and more and more all the time with that particular game. And it's an oldish game now, but God, it plays well. And so there's a lot of DLC in that particular one as well. Actually, there's a few Slytherin games that we should have a look at. I know that there was a big announcement today about multiplayer in Scramble, so maybe we'll have a look at that as well. I've got a bit of time today, so this will probably be a longish session. And then we'll do the marble run at the back end and give away 2 keys, as I said at the start. So for River Towns. So in this one here, we're playing as the Artuks. And if I just go into the capital world, this will actually probably be a good one to have a bit of a look at here. And so the Artuks, as I said before, I was very, very pleasantly surprised with what they actually did bring in. If you just go and have a look at one of their ships. So this is an Artuk ship. It doesn't look great, doesn't it? It just look incredibly good. The actual ship designs, as I said before, look fantastic with this. Look really, really fantastic. It's they've done such a good job of this. I think when I was live streaming it, someone mentioned that it was very much sort of like Buck Rogers, in the 25th century or whatever it was that was sort of done. It's got that sort of old world feel, very Futurama-ish as well. Even the spaceports, everything just looks good. If I just zoom out to the spaceport and zoom across to it, it's just beautifully done. The actual overall look of the Artuks, their ships just look amazing. So that's just one visual aspect of it. And they play quite differently. The actual the actual Artuk themselves play. There's a chance that their ships are going to blow up in space, for example, because they're not very clever. They also have different things coming through here. The Great Direction, sneakier. So I need to try to steal research projects of tech level 6 or higher, which I won't be able to do in this game. But that was something that you end up having. These Great Directions become your victory conditions, and so. Looking at what we actually have through here, you can see that through there, the victory objectives, we need to complete the various these great directions. So I've completed, trying to get richer in this particular one. I'm now trying to get sneakier as well, but I'm not going to be able to get that one. And so you end up with these different focuses every 5 years in the game of trying to achieve one of these victory conditions. And so it changes your whole focus of really what you're trying to achieve in the game, which means it keeps the game pretty fresh. With what Janet might explode, says Drexy. And Drexy was also saying that Gladius DLC is a faction though. Games like Stellaris is systems upon systems. It just ends up a mess. It's different factions, and they do add nuance to the game in Gladius. Again, can't get enough of the DLCs in Gladius. Stellaris just became too much in the end. Too many DLCs that just didn't matter, and then you don't know which ones do matter. And then we've got things like this is a great direction multiply. So victory objective, achieve an empire population of 100 billion. And so these breed like rabbits, the Artuks, with what they actually have. And so anyway, they just go off and do their own thing. They're a Hobbit type faction in terms of the actual game itself. Again, I don't know how much I'll play them, but I did enjoy playing as them. And then of course, if I just go back and load in the Wekaris game that I've got, I don't know why I've got the autosave. That sort of bothers me a bit, to be honest. I normally would sort of have this one here. It's only, what's that, 10 minutes difference if I just go and load that one in. So in this game, I'm playing, and I was going to restart actually. I was going to do a restart with this before I started to do any more live streaming. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is us in through here. So their ships don't look as good as the Artuks, visually. They're a bit dark with the way that they sort of do look. So it's a bit too much contrast. They still look okay, but they're just, I don't know, the Artuks, there's something special about those Artuk ships. I think that the dark look to these ships is a bit too much. But they also then have, this is the battle mode, these have been named ships. We're sort of playing a Dazdemption. This is on Twitch, Dazdemption, where if the ship gets destroyed, that player is banned. But the Wekaris have got incredible ships, very, very fast, very, very strong. So I think that they have to be the strongest ships in the game, I think. So they're quite easy to play. So it's pretty good fun playing as them, to be honest. But in this game, it's too easy for me at this point in time. So I was going to start again and start where I just let the game play for a little bit of time and then sort of move it in from there. So I've turned off. I was using a mod to rename things, but South China, Brisbane, these aren't names that are immersive. So I've turned off that mod. So when I start again, we shouldn't end up with systems that look like that. Khartoum. These are not what I consider to be good names for planets. But anyway, I've got another mod which does also some naming as well, so we'll see how that one actually does work. But I'm really looking forward to being able to present this one, and when this one does come out, I think this is going to be another one of these DLCs that people will like. If I just exit back out to the desktop. So if Richardson saying, "My God, Stellaris, there's so many DLCs, I don't even know where to begin." Yeah, it gets that way. It's sort of funny with the way that sort of does work. So with Distant Worlds is sort of having a bit of a renaissance, I think, with the way it sort of is working. They're certainly keep on developing it. They've done a good job of improving it over time. I still don't think they focus enough on the user experience, which I hope that they will. I know that they are focusing on it, but nowhere near as much as, for example, like Paradox games have got much higher focus on that. Stardock have got it, and we'll maybe talk about Paths of Power as well. So I haven't played that. I did want to play that one before I started to really talk about it. But it's very, very cool, this game. It's just such a great game, Distant Worlds. Again, it's right up there with my favourite games. I absolutely love it. It's just amazing. So anyway, that's Distant Worlds. Be playing a lot of that towards the end of the week, like a hell of a lot. So I've got that one there. I'll just go and close that off. Distant Worlds. Yep. So actually, we'll go and now look at Paths of Power. So this is Sins, the Solar Empire. The thing that I was really struck with Sins is again, the user experience with Sins is something where you don't even realise that they've tweaked. Why is it not going there? Just press enter. I'll go this way. Yeah, so what's the review scores here? 85%, 73% with mostly positive with recent reviews. But the approach with Sins of a Solar Empire has been the user experience, and so there's things that sort of happen subconsciously with the way. And I think I'll start this game up, and it'll take a little bit of time for this one to load in as well. And it's okay. It's downloading content. I didn't have it all in there. It shouldn't take too long. Hopefully, hope it's just a little patch or something. Okay, Seeking Meta is saying, which is better, Dominion 6 or Distant Worlds 2? Oh, wow. What a question. What a question. Both great games. Very different. God, which way, how do you describe this? I think if you like simulation games, of course, Distant Worlds will be the winner. If you like fantasy games, then in that case, Dominions would be the winner. Dominions is Dominions Worlds definitely says Dom UK. Dominion 6, the mechanics in Dominion 6 is something that you can pick up fairly easily with some factions, and then as the more you play it, the more you learn about how to play other factions. And so there's an awful lot of replay value in Dom 6 and in Distant Worlds as well. But Dom 6 is something special. Like it's Distant Worlds 2 says Drexy. There we go. I think it's I would struggle to recommend one or the other. I think it really comes down to how you like to play games. And so if you're into fantasy, of course, Dominion 6 is going to be the better game. I haven't played that for a long time, and I should really show that again. Dominion 6 is just such a great game to play. Again, it's one of these games that I never play enough of it. I think because I like Age of Wonders 4 so much, that Dom 6 gets a bit of a back seat to that. But it's an excellent game again, like just brilliantly done. I always like to sort of play it when there's a new faction that comes out, but some of the new factions can be quite hard to play. Some of them are easy-ish to play. I always find there's a handful of factions in Dom 6 that allow players to get into the game pretty readily. Let me know in the chat if you want me to just fire it up and just sort of show Distant Worlds 6 is hardcore 4X, as Richard Phillips. Distant Worlds, sorry. So Rich is saying Distant Worlds 2 is more of a simulation game, which is, I guess, why some people just don't like it. Well, people don't understand it as a simulation game because they think it's just going to be a game of like Stellaris or Galactic Civilizations. It's going to be something where it's what am I trying to say? Where it's more like a board game, plays more like a board game. The balance in Distant Worlds is not as fine-tuned as the other games. The other games are sort of can be played multiplayer, whereas Distant Worlds is not a multiplayer game, and I like that. I prefer that. In terms of the actual player experience. So for me, the simulation aspect is very, very good. I really do like that in Distant Worlds. I like that it's sort of you've got to really look after everything in the game, but I guess you get used to it. Okay, Rocklight saying if you have time, then fire it up. I've got a fair bit of time today. Actually, I started early and I've got a bit of time up my sleeve. So this will be a longish episode, and we will do the giveaway at the end. But so if you're hovering around for that one, I apologise. We're going to be here for a little bit of time. This is struggling. It's 80%. It's 80%. Sorry, I should have checked this before I started. Often there's games in my that have queued up. Oh, there's another game I meant to talk about as well. I'll have to talk about that as well. There's so many things happening at the moment. So many things happening. Yeah, so Quasimorph, another update for them. Nothing big. Like Quasimorph, if it says patch notes, it's worth reading. Shadow Empire, of course, there's not enough happening with the updates to Shadow Empire to warrant playing that one again. Airships is getting better and better again, which is already a great game. Xenonauts, I can't fire it up. Looking at this one here, it's probably going to take a bit too long to do it, but I did want to show what's going on with that one. Yeah, River Towns is updated as well. Yeah, so we just this one here, Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. While we're waiting for this one to load in, I'll just go to this one here. I do want to mention this one. It was one of these games where I did cover this a year or so back, I guess. I'll just go back and do it in here. So let's just go to Arms Tycoon. Have I done them? No, that's not it. Here we go. It's now just come through. In that case, we'll have a quick look at this one. Come on, game. Come on, game. Just go and play it. Hopefully it won't take too long to load in. It was Arms Trade Tycoon, I think. Just get it ready, just so we've got it there. Yeah, there it is there. Major World War II update coming for that one, so we'll have a look at that one in just a minute. But in the meantime, we'll go back to Sins. Oh, read error. Let's quit out of this. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's try it one more time. Hi Invictus, how are you going? Dominic saying, so I'm sometimes worried that we're living in Distant World 3. So high fidelity, we think it's real, and we should worry about who is out there. Okay, let's go and play. So we'll just quickly go to this one here. Hopefully it'll work this time. I think it's me flipping around into different things. But Sins is a beautiful game. Like it's a game that I think that games like Distant Worlds could really learn a lot from what Sins does, to be honest, in terms of its user experience. And you don't even realise, just what's happening in Sins as it sort of does things. Now, Paths to Power does bring a lot of new stuff and a lot of new content to the game and a lot of different ways of playing the game. But it's not something that I haven't played it yet, so I can't really speak about it. When it eventually does fire up. It's thinking. We'll just let that one go. So what's the giveaway today in Marble Run? It's River Towns. So I've got 2 keys for River Towns. Whoever comes at the top of the list and whoever comes at the bottom of the list. So they're going to be the 2 winners of River Towns DLCs. So I showed it at the start of the session. So showed the game. Okay, it is thinking. It's thinking. So hopefully it won't take too long. So again, I do apologise for not having an SSD. I've really got to get one for this computer. I'll have to look and see how much they cost. I don't know if they've gone up or down in recent years. I know at the time I needed a big drive for storing things on, and so I just couldn't sort of do it. What games do you like playing off stream? Quasimorph would probably be my main one, really, when I'm thinking about it. Here we go. I'll sort of come through. In fact, we'll just press escape. So press any key to start. Yeah, probably Quasimorph, actually. When I think about it, that's the game that I tend to be going back to all the time to just see sort of how that one does play. It's fairly quick and easy to play a mission in Quasimorph, which I quite like. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy that one a lot. Tiger Russ is saying, I wonder if that's why Cringer stopped his stream for Sins this morning. I'm not sure what happened there. I have no idea. Okay, so Total Subjugation update. That was in March. Okay, I'm just going to click on OK. So these are, of course, the tutorials. Let's get a new game. We do have scenarios, and I think that it's come in with scenarios. Yeah, defend the home world. I'm pretty sure that this is the sort of stuff that's now come through. You're the apprentice united and beset on all sides by enemy forces who want to steal your star-based technology. Defeat is certain, but how long can you last? And so these are different ways of playing. I think that this is actually more what we're sort of seeing through here. Scorched Space, Clash of the Titans. It's beautiful graphics, isn't it, that they've got for the game. Like, it just works. Let's just go to defend your home world. We'll just set up the game. So we've got impossible AIs. I don't know if I can change those. Clicked on it. Not sure if I can change their. Not expected to win. Yeah, so no, we're just going to have to put up with them. So we've got the. Okay, it looks like I can change what's actually going to be coming up against me. I'll just start the game. I won't play too much of this because I just haven't played any of it at all. But the graphics in Sins is just something to behold. It really is beautiful. And the way it sort of works is the... this is interesting. I haven't seen these sort of cut scenes before either. But the zooming in on things in the game is just intuitive. And as I said before, just it's little things like that Distant Worlds doesn't do, that this game does. And... it enhances it. You don't even realise that it's actually doing it. And because when I was originally playing Sins 2, I was wondering why I was enjoying it so much. Because it's not typically the sort of game that I tend to play a lot of, because it's a real time game. It's plausible real time, but it's still a fairly overwhelming real time game. And but it is that user experience. There's been so much effort put into it. And you just don't realise it's there. This is actually taking a bit of time. Is it loading, setting up a game? I don't know what it's doing. Don't know why we're seeing all these ships. Yep. So Oliver's saying, I think this game mode is about how long you can stay in the game. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Surely it doesn't take this long to load in an actual game. Oh, here it goes. It is loading in the game. I don't know what it's doing. No idea. So we'll let that one go. So Goodney's saying, does Sins 2 have something different over Sins Rebellion other than the graphics? Sins 2 itself really sort of picked up where Rebellion left off, and so there are some differences. There's something written about that because Rebellion was the culmination of a lot of additional things that were put into the original Sins game, and so Sins 2 started off at that point by re-emulating that for a more modern environment. So I'm thinking not dramatically, other than things like the user experience and user interface is different, but generally it starts off with where Rebellion's ended, and then sort of builds on from there. But there is information, particularly if you have a look back at around the launch time, because that was a common question, but I can't remember what they actually are, to be honest. So. Yep, so Field of Glory Kingdoms is great as well. Can't stop playing it, says Jerry. Yes, and I'll be playing some of that, I think, in the coming week as well. I've got, I think over the weekend, I've got a stream with that. There's so much of streaming I've got to do this week. It's just crazy. So this is really this today is. I thought I'd better get a ChatTactic in this week because I haven't done it for a week or two, and I'm not going to get a chance after today, basically, because after today all of the embargoes come off essentially for all the different games, so it's going to be a very, very full week. Brian's saying, have you got the hang of trade in Quasimorph yet, or is it still something asking for items that are incredibly hard to obtain? It's still really, really poor, that aspect of the game, to be honest. They've got to streamline that. They really do. They've got to focus on that because that is just shockingly bad in Quasimorph. I don't even worry about trade now because it's just useless. It's just pointless. It's sort of a shame because it's so hard to to get your ship up to to upgrade your ship. So I love the game. I love the actual missions, but I really don't like trade, and it's so difficult to upgrade your ship. So yeah, that for me is just an exercise in frustration. It's micromanagement hell, where you've got to try to match things up. They really need to focus on that, and they tend to sort of do that. Like they tend to focus on one thing and then they'll go do another thing because it's still in early access, so they're still building things up. God, this is taking forever to load in. I don't know why this is taking so long. Sorry, guys. It's yeah. I thought this would load in pretty fast, but it is taking an absolute age here. So Rocklight is saying you have a schedule of when and what and when you stream this week. My schedule is when I wake up, essentially. so when I wake up, I then think, can I get back to sleep? And if the answer is no, I get up and start streaming. So it can be, unfortunately, it's plus or minus a few hours, like when I do start to sort of then go and stream. I'll just begin and then pause sort of pretty much straight away, I think. And then we can just go in. This game is beautiful. So unfortunately, I don't really have a streaming schedule. I will be streaming to both Twitch and here on YouTube as well. So this what we're doing today is just purely on YouTube, but I will be streaming to both Twitch and YouTube over the coming week with pretty much everything, I think. I have to monitor to see what that does to my YouTube channel, because I know that when I start to play version like episode 2, 3, or 4 of a game, the viewership goes right off, and then YouTube then crushes your algorithm for you, very very thankfully, which is very very annoying. So Invictus saying, Daz, is there a game that you're looking forward to that's going to come out in the next 3 or 4 years? Something that makes you think future is bright. Gosh, nothing I can think of. Everything's sort of just coming out as it comes out at the moment. It's sort of funny. My mind goes back to I would love to see the Emperor of the Fading Suns done as a new remake of the game. Like after playing it this week. In all its old 1990s sort of graphics, I would love to see an actual like something done, looking like this in that game would be awesome. But I don't know if that would ever come. I'm just not sure. So this game here, the thing I like about this game is just, again, the user interface is really, really quite easy to get a handle on. And as we sort of zoom in on different things, the actual, it's so immersive, or so intuitive, the way it sort of does work. If I start to zoom in on a ship, it will then it automatically will sort of just go to it. You don't even realize when you start to do it. It's just there, and then all of a sudden you're sort of then looking at various sort of ship designs. It automatically latches on to whatever the focus is, and so it will then sort of just navigate around it. It's just, and it seems like it's such a silly little thing to be so taken by, but I love what they've done with this. Even the planet, can sort of just go and grab and rotate around the planet. It's just beautifully done. This whole game, I can go to a very very small ship, and with that one selected, I'm just looking here. This is where I don't know exactly what they've done with this, but this is Distant Worlds needs this sort of stuff. This is the approach, and just the overall look of this game is just something special. Like, it really is something special. The ships look fantastic. The whole experience in Sins is just a great and such a simple experience to be able to then sort of work your way around to do different things. It's sort of funny because there was a game that came out this year or last year actually. What was it? Homeworld. Homeworld did this so poorly. What Sins does so well. And it just crushed the game. It was so difficult to navigate. And so Distant Worlds does a better job of navigation than that. But in Distant Worlds, you're zooming out, you're then picking a spot. In this one, it just latches onto an object that's close by and will then sort of allow you to go in and sort of zoom around it. This one does a much better job at just this automatic zoom. As you sort of start to sort of zoom in on things, it will sort of it will figure out where you want to go and then make good sense of what your approach actually is. So I won't play the game. I just wanted to show that. I'm just taken by what this game does so well with this, and it's one of these things you don't even realise that you've actually got this whole dynamic that you've got. Where you're in control of, where it's so easy to navigate between ships or groups of ships. Just the user experience is just something next level with this game, and it's just absolutely stunning what they've actually sort of done with it. It's it is beautiful. It's beautiful game. Anyway, that's Sins. I won't, as I say, I haven't really sort of played this one. I don't even know if we can see. Yeah, we've probably got unknowns in here, I would imagine. We're just not we're not seeing the various ships. Oh, we've got ships in here. So we do actually have some attacks. I guess they're going to be coming in from these different locations. We've got to sort of try to protect the system. So they're unexplored. Yeah, so these will be the 3 different areas that they're going to be coming from. There's a few unexplored areas back and through there again as well. Anyway, I won't keep on playing this game, but that's Paths of Power has come out for Sins, and as I said before, Sins is one of these games where the user experience is something next level. It's a beautiful game. We'll exit the desktop. Okay, so once we're out of there. We're going to have a quick look at Dominions. We've got a bit of time today, so why not? Dominions has had some updates in recent times, but just more bug fixes and things like that. I tend to always read whatever the patch notes are for Dominions in case it's a new faction. I don't think there's been a new faction. If you're going to play the game, a few things that you may sort of want to have. I've got a mod running, which is just Nation Overview and through here. But if I just go to Create World, so if you're going to be playing this one here, don't feel that you have to sort of play anything too unusual here. I'm just playing with standard for these. This is all just default. Just test. I've probably got one called test already. Oh no, that's okay. Middle Ages. This is sort of like where the mix of steel and iron and magic are sort of balanced. So just click on OK. And you might change. There's a few little things. Again, and I won't spend very much time with this, but if you press the question mark, so Shift question mark, you will then get the different things you can do. So you can restrict it to all random to land. So Shift L. So when you see a capital L, it's not just pressing the L key. It's Shift L. It's capital L. If I go into to Shift L through there, so random land nation. So now everyone's going to be playing as different land nations. That makes it a bit easier for your first games with this one. Normal AI, you may want to play a bit easier for your first game, but or more difficult if you've played multiple of these. If we go into the actual land nations themselves, or into the nations themselves, we can play as any nation. The nations are sort of selected by theme now, so you tend to have all of your like the Vanheim and Vanarus, for example. These are going to be these are essentially going to be like the Jotun giants. This is a good choice for a new player, the Vanheim. That sort of is where you've actually got giants that you then are playing with. You don't have a hell of a lot of units to manage, and they're big and strong. Another good one to play with where you don't have to sort of worry too much about it is Ulm, which is it sort of plays more like dwarves, where they're very much focused on heavy infantry and metal, and so the magic is very, very restricted, playing as Ulm, which means you can actually get into the game in more traditional sense with just sort of standard forces. So they would be probably my 2 big picks to play just to get used to the game. But then you've got other things like Pangaea is a good one as well. This is sort of like the woodland realm, again with minotaurs and stuff like that. There's all sorts of different ways of playing, but these, I think Vanheim and Ulm and Pangaea, I think are good choices if you're getting getting into the game. A lot of them are much more difficult, but you can sort of just play it this way. The hardest thing with this game is actually what you do next. So if we go and choose, for example, Vanheim, which are the giants. So if I got that one through there, I'll just go and click on OK. And so this is now just giving me an overview of what we do. Always read this because this is very, very important. And you can right-click on these to see what the different sorts of units are that you end up having. So in this case, we've sort of got these giants. These are... actually, these are herdmen. Are these giants? Or are these elves? Vanheim. I think I've chosen the wrong one. Have I chosen the wrong one? I think I have. Here, yeah, I have. Pascals. I think I've chosen the elves. Anyway, hang on. Vanir once fought the giants of Jotunheim. Yeah, so these are elves. Essentially, I've chosen the wrong one here. Just let me go back out. Just going to click on OK. Just go yes, and then cancel. Oh, it's going to make me do it, isn't it? And then we'll go back. Right, so Shift L. Click on that one. So I chose Vanheim. I should have chosen... yeah, these are the enemies of the Jotun giants. So these were the Jotunheim is what I'm looking for. Where is it? Is it further down? Yeah, there it is. It was underneath that one. Jotunheim is the one I'm thinking of. This is an easy-ish one to play. So we'll go with Jotunheim, the Iron Woods. Click on OK. And so now we have giants. So we've got like different giants that we're now sort of playing with in through here. So there's a land of bitter winters. And so we end up read through these sorts of things to sort of get a bit of a feel for it. This is the hard bit, is choosing this. You can just press the R key and randomize it to sort of see what you end up getting, but it's dangerous to do that. In this case, yeah, I'll just keep on pressing R a few times until I get something that, you know, it sort of looks like it looks okay. Yeah, but you know, this is the hardest thing in the whole game, is actually getting this screen where you want it. I'll just go with this, whatever this one is currently in through here. I won't worry about it. This one's in prison, which means we're not going to have it on the map. But Jotunheim itself is an easy-ish one to sort of then go and play. And I'll just go and click on OK through here. You can change a few things in here, and change also the way that you would sort of set up the different ways of winning the game. But yeah, overall, it's a very engaging game. But building your god, your pretender god, is the hardest thing in the game. So you sort of end up testing different things often, and just sort of saying, okay, that's going to work or that's not going to work. And so it's trial and error. You know, play for 10 turns and just sort of see, yep, okay, that build's going to get me ahead, or no, that build's going to be too difficult. Things like that. But you won't really know until you start to play the game. But the pressing random is actually it's not great what it designs for you, but it does get you started. And so we start off in here with the Frost Giants, essentially, and then you sort of get into the... I won't go into how to play the game, but Jotunheim's a good choice for new players. It's fairly forgiving because you are playing with large giant units. Some of the other factions are more difficult, but the Jotunheim is all about sort of freezing the world. So you're playing as the Frost Giants. Anyway, I won't keep on playing. Let's just get out of there. But it's a great game, of course, playing Dominions. So quit without saving, and then we just quit there. All right, there we are. So yeah, Dominion 6, great game. So, and we did mention that one before. Now, what else do we have to talk about? Oh, that's right, Scramble. So let's have a look and see. Scramble has gotten... Oh, sorry, no, we're going to look at... Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. I was going to try to play. This is another one I wanted to play before I actually started talking about it, because I haven't actually had a chance to have a look at the new upcoming update. And so Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks is a unique combination of tank design and tycoon game. It puts you in charge of an arms trading company specialising in tanks from World War I to the modern era. So research, design, sell and follow your tanks in battle to make your own history. Now, it's still in early access. It's been in early access for a little while. You can see it came out about a year and a bit ago. And publisher is Microprose, which of course have got some great games as well. Like I really love the Microprose games that they've actually got. So this is actually this is an interesting game where you end up needing to. And I just wonder if we can do it there. Should we go to the roadmap there? Midterm, yeah, what's this one? USA joins the game, World in Flames. Yeah, major update, World War II era. So I think we're up to there. Gameplay time is extended with some iconic World War II tanks are now added. So I'm not sure if I can show that. So I thought we might be best to just sort of show information here. Yep, so this is happening just right now, actually. So the Greetings, arms dealers. We're very excited to share with you the World War II era update. With the new World War approaching, the tank engineers are rushing to perfect their designs and prepare them for the challenges that are approaching. Follow their tracks or design your own tank, combining the technologies of the interwar and World War II eras. So starting basically today, which is pretty much, I think that's pretty much right now, I think. The game will also have a daily deal and a 25% discount. It's perfect time to jump in and experience the game at its finest. So 12 new vehicles, including British, German, Russian and American tanks. It's important to note that we will continue to add World War II tanks to the game as we continue the development. And so they'll keep on adding different types of tanks. The way that you work it is that you sort of design aspects of the tanks, put them together, purpose-built for different sorts of war conditions, and then you sort of satisfy demand from different countries, essentially, so you can then supply the arms to the different countries. This is sort of showing the different sorts of technology that you're trying to unlock as you sort of develop the tanks up. It's possible to combine and mix components from the interwar and World War II periods. And so in this case, we're now getting much more modern tanks than what you got. The original game is World War One. So tank role roster expands into 12 new roles to account for World War II vehicles. So you've got sort of essentially like universal tanks, heavy infantry tanks, economical infantry tanks, so different styles of tanks that the different countries will then sort of require. Expand factory grounds functionality with new facilities, new administrative characters and additional process lines. And so you sort of end up with this process line, a thing where you start to build the tanks and then need to sell them. And so it is a tycoon game, but you do get to test the tanks a little bit as well. So it does have some sort of testing ability. Several important quality of life improvements, including part compatibility assistant, component and part archiving, and design assistant in engineering bureaus and others. Extend possibility to select the start era of the game into World War II. Oh, okay, didn't realise we could do that. So the new era brings a rebalance to certain aspects of the game. We believe that these adjustments will enhance the overall experience. So there's a whole lot of different stuff that have then come into this. I'll fire it up, and so I think it's loaded in. Now that will be under modern. Where is it? I think it's in here somewhere. Am I missing it? Oh, there it is. I won't spend too much time with this, but it's again, it's an interesting game. So Seeking Meta is saying, oh, this reminds me of Kaiserpunk a little. Have you looked at that? I haven't, no. Kaiserpunk I don't know at all. So Slobodan Tomic is saying, this Tank Tycoon game, how far can you diverge from the historical timeline? Well, it's sort of random. It's a random world war that occurs. It's not a historical world war, but the different countries require different sorts of tanks, and so then you have to develop, you have to do R&D to try to second guess where they're going to come through. If I just go to new game, and era 1, 2, 3, 4. This content is currently under development. Stay tuned. Era 3. As a new world war threatened to ravage the world, Britain's tank development program sent to overdrive. The game begins in a time of uncertainty as the shadows of a new war looms. Okay, let's have a look at this one here. So, granting you access to essential World War I and interwar technologies for your upcoming development. That's what we have there. Now, British Empire, can we change that? This is the difficulty back down through here. I thought we could change the empire that we're starting at. I thought there was a range of different things we could do there. Let's just go and start. Starting the game at a time period other than Era 1 represents greater complexity. I just want to show you what the game has got. Yep. So random world war makes it morally less difficult. Yeah. So it's probably you're only selling to the good guys. I forget how it works, to be honest. It's you end up with you have to sort of start off by building your tank factory, and then sort of work from there. So you're mainly working in around the tank factory. We'll see what we can get to sort of start through here. You end up with prototypes of tanks with different abilities. got to figure out whether it's more cost effective to do something to then supply like a minimum spec tank to like a country, or whether you go all out to try to create something that's super powerful. Let's go DAS and then DASCO. There we are. Just go new player. World news. So it just goes with the formation dedicated tank corps. World War II is emerging. So I'm thinking it's random. The actual from what I can remember of the game. Let's just go and close that one down. So this is actually the tank factory, where we've got like different sorts of things in through here. Administration centre will, as I go into each building, it's then got different abilities for us to then go and build different types of things. So John Corden is the current administrator through here. So I can add other administrators to the actual game itself. If I just put out of that one through there, this is a production hall. This one then allows me to go and grab different types of. So I'm not sure if that one. Yeah, so I've got them already. Retooling line. I can build that one, for example. So I can just start to build different areas onto the actual tank factory. Test drive. So if we have any like research bureau, engineering bureau, and design bureau, these are actually how we then design the new tanks. The test drive is sort of like more the 3D sort of area. So we have a medium Mark III, a Mark E Type A. So these are just tanks that we've happened to have here, I think. If we go and test drive. So this allows you to then test your actual tank. So this is the actual tank that you can go and design. In this case, it will always just try to sort of have the turret pointing in a certain direction. It's just WASD keys to then sort of run the tank around. So you've got different guns. I forget exactly how to do all this. You have to get across this little area. So this isn't one that we've designed, but as you start to design them, you'll be able to then sort of do different things with the tanks. So you don't drive them in combat as such. It would be pretty cool if you did, but you don't. Like there is sort of like a global area, and this is always pretty much the same. But this is just so you can sort of start to test the combat. This is like a firing range here. So I'll just move that one onto there, and that one's down. Turret comes down. There we are, and so then we're off again. So this one's a bit more of a complex turn into that area there, but this is sort of like just the the testing of the actual tanks themselves, just seeing how they can maneuver through obstacles, getting in and around different areas. So it's just simple to drive it with, and so this is more just going to test them, just sort of see how they sort of operate. So that one's been destroyed, and off we go again to the next one. And so that's the driving range. Just go and exit, I'm thinking. Yep, so we can go back into here. The world area, where's that? Espionage Centre. So there's other sorts of things where we can sort of, try to sort of steal different other designs from other locations. HQ reports, nothing happening just yet. So it's just early at this point in time. Legal Centre resource. I'm trying to find the map of the world. Oh, there it is, global map. And so the world map shows a variety of information from around the globe. As you can see, the state of provinces. So you've got different provinces in through here. And so as you start to try to sort of then go and develop things, this is just an overview of this one. We can't see it very clearly here, but the world wars, or the wars, sort of take place where the different protagonists or antagonists end up sort of trying to take over smallish areas to then take over countries, and so you can sort of see them as it zooms in. Now I don't know if we can, if I can just go straight into it. The world map overview. Just a manual, is it? Oh, this is just the okay. This is the manual I've opened. I haven't opened up the actual global world map. Just press W. Oh, this is the world map. And so as I zoom in, you can sort of see through here that that we start off with the different sorts of countries. You need to then take over each of these different locations to then be able to then sort of push the borders through. But you don't really do it. There's armies that do this, like, you know, essentially using your tanks. And so you're supplying different governments with different tanks to then be able to go and fight. And so in this case, you know, it sort of covers Africa and I don't know if it covers other locations. It does a little bit, so it goes across into China, Japan. It's an interesting game. I sort of zoom back out. We've then got these as well, and then we've got America as well, and even they've got areas that can be taken over. West Virginia, different incomes, and so on and so forth. And so the countries then employ you to then go and do things. And I've forgotten everything that you can do with this one. There's a lot you can do in the game itself. It's a very interesting game. But it's not one where you're sort of fighting tanks. You are supplying tanks for other people to then fight with them. So Dom UK is saying, look at Steam. USA and Russia are on the roadmap for this game. I think that they're in already, actually. I think that they're... I don't know if you can play as them. I'll just exit back out of this. I'll just quit. But this is... it's an interesting game. And anyway, so they've now got the major free update coming for that one through there. So that's another one that's just, again, coming out right now. And another one that's coming out right now is, talking about the World War II theme, is if we just go back to the store page here and go to Scramble. So Scramble had a big announcement today, and I don't know what that announcement actually is. I know that it's multiplayer. And so Scramble is a game, and I've played this a lot on the Slytherin channel. Well, not a lot, but I play it about once a month on the Slytherin channel, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's such a great game. It's very positive, 93% for this game. Like this is people love this game when they play it. And so it's in early access. There's still a lot that's coming with the game. That you can't play the campaign. Actually, I'm just going to grab myself another drink of water. I'm going to be right back. Okay, so Serenity's saying, I have to leave. Could you put me in the marble run later? Yes, I can. But just make sure you check, because if you don't email me, then the key is free for anyone else to claim the next week, basically. So if I don't hear from people over the course of the week, if they win a key, then that's on them. Okay, so we've got the... so Scramble is essentially a dogfighting game, but it's so well done. In fact, I'll show you this as well, because we do have time today. We have a bit of time. So Scramble World War II should be there. There it is. Just go and open this one up. As I say, I really like this game. Like this is good fun to play. It does have... like replays, and in fact I may just play one of the replays and sort of show you rather than play the actual game itself. But this is the game mechanics in this, in terms of the actual dog fighting, is the best I've played with a game where you're not actually literally in a flight simulator. So it's not actually a flight simulator to play Scramble. So we've got the campaign will be coming. Squadron Leader is sort of like the mini campaign that you can currently play. Now, I've got one that I'm playing at the moment, which I won't start that one, but that is like I'm playing that on the Slytherin channel every so often. You've got different missions you can then go and do. Dogfight Generator, you can just sort of play like a random game, instant action as well. Multiplayer is coming, so that will be coming within days, I would imagine. How to play the Almanac replays. If I just go back into replays, I'll just play, that might have been the last one I played, I'm not sure. When was that done? Yeah, I'll show you this one here. I'll just go and start this one. So, I don't usually look at the replay, so I'm not exactly sure how this will then sort of show it. So this is actually a group of hurricanes, which we're sort of fighting against 3 ME110s, which are vehicles that are have got like a rear gunner. So that's sort of what we've got in through this other side. If we just go and start the match, if I just press space. So this is now just going to sort of show turn-by-turn replay in progress. And so you essentially sort of set up, now these have got the jump on the Germans. So we've got the hurricane forces will be sort of coming through. And if I just go and play it, if I just go and press enter and commit turn, so they'll start to sort of dive on these. These will then start to sort of move away. Don't know how I can play this one just to go into, I've got a free camera at the moment, a fixed camera. That should be okay, I'm guessing. The dolly, the hard points. I don't know how to, I haven't played with this one all that much, to be honest. I'll just play it. I can't play it continuously either. Is there another way to do it? Yeah, I'm sorry about this. I don't ever play this mode. I mean, this is actually we're looking at it from the perspective of one of the aircraft. You can see the rear gunner was starting to sort of fire. I'll just keep on playing it through. So the various aircraft are now trying to sort of chase down their own aeroplanes. So this one's now sort of moving in around to try to sort of get in behind this particular aircraft. So it's turn-based. It's like a WeGo system where you give it each plane instructions, and then they sort of fly on. So follow this one through. It's a beautiful looking game. So we're starting to sort of line it up. In this case, we're going to be shooting at it. Don't know if we actually did any damage to it. These are quite strong, these ME110s. You got Spitfires as well in the game. The Hurricanes are not as good. Okay, now the rear gunner is now firing at us in this instance. And we just got hit in the wing, but we didn't take any actual damage there. It's also been hit as well, and I can actually go to this plane to sort of see what's actually happened there. So there's actually been some damage done to its coolant, I think, or something to do with that engine. So the engine has actually now been taken back. Yeah, and part of the wings have now falling off the ME110. Yeah, so it's breaking apart. So it's essentially dropping out of the sky now. And so it would then go back, and it's essentially destroyed this plane. So that plane will then be dropping out of the sky. Going back around to the other plane. It's just a great game, and it models all of the parts of the actual aircraft. So when you're doing damage to it, if I go back to this one over here and start to try to have a bit of a look, this one, I don't know if this one's been damaged yet. Yeah, that's been damaged on its wing. So this one's also copped a little bit. There's another fight down this way where we've got planes that are really close to the water, and so they've got to try to avoid each other. So we don't want to have collisions, but we also then have to avoid dropping into the ocean. This one's only like 50 meters above the ocean. Yeah, where can we see that? I'm not seeing. I can't think of where they actually are. Oh, they were down here. So in this case, the this aircraft has now just skimmed the surface, and this one's now sort of moving around, but it's actually losing airspeed. It's very strategic actually playing this. I don't know if I can have this one. Camera fixed. Yeah, I'm not sure what all these different things do, to be honest. So it's now moving up. This thing's going to try to catch us. So it's trying to get in behind us, but it's losing airspeed. Ours is sort of still at the airspeed, but this one you can see it's luffing in the and it's going to then start to stall, which will then give us a chance to try to get in behind it. So it's trying to get in to line us up. It's just took a bit of a pot shot there. We're now skimming around because we're much more manoeuvrable than this aircraft. You can see it's still losing airspeed, and so it's in a bit of trouble. Just have to sort of wait this out. Then sort of swing back in around. This one's going to then stall. That's what the symbol is through there. We need to pick up airspeed ourselves. So it's now trying to pick up airspeed, but we can now get in behind it. So this is where there's a bit of strategy with the way this one does work. And so now we can start to line it up. So it's firing at the other aircraft. The other aircraft have finished off their kills. And now we're going to line this one up while the other two aircraft are coming back in as well. And now we should have it lined up. So there goes the other Hurricanes. What was interesting about this, I remember playing this, I played this a couple of weeks ago, and it was so interesting trying to make, in fact that has now just been destroyed, and that was essentially it. But so that was the, like I don't know how to play it so we can see the whole thing, but it's a very, very cool, cool game. With what we actually sort of have through there. So we've got yeah, it's good fun anyway with what it actually does do. So yeah, it's just nicely done. In fact, this is the same aircraft, just skims the water, it almost crashes, and then this is it now played in real time. So it's now sort of playing out the whole interaction. But anyway, let's not worry about that one. Just go back to quit to the menu. But it's really, really well done. So where do we get up to? Okay, where did we get up to there? So Serenity's saying I have to leave. You put me in the marble run. That's okay. The thirst kicked in mid-sentence. Yes, it does. It does, unfortunately. I've got a croaky throat at the moment, so I sort of need to be drinking a fair bit. Wiggly is saying, how do you prove who emailed you is the same one that won the marble run? Well, I've never had to worry about it, to be honest. It's quite often there'll be some way that people will just basically sort of say who they are, and I often don't get a chance to see it until the end of the until like some hours afterwards. Like if quite often I finish and then have to go to work or something like that, so I often don't send the keys out for. It can be a day, up to a day late, so it's not immediate. And so if the emails do come in and people and multiple people have claimed it and no, that's never happened. I think it'd be fairly easy to find out who it was. And then of course I'd ban the other person from the channel at that point, I guess. But it's so in that sort of sense, I think it's not too difficult to get to the bottom of it. But I haven't had to worry about it, so that's not been something I've needed to concern myself with. If we were doing this on Twitch, I'd be able to then just whisper the key to you, but I can't do it with YouTube. YouTube doesn't have that. YouTube's very, very antiquated with the way it sort of handles interaction with community, unfortunately, in comparison to Twitch. Twitch is so much easier to play with or to stream with. Okay, so Oliver's saying it really is a good step forward in its genre, as in, I'm thinking you're talking about Scramble. Scramble's great. Brendan's saying, I've watched several Let's Play from different streamers, but couldn't quite understand how it simulates. Does different models of aircraft have different flight models, or more like a board game? It's, yeah, they've all got different flight models. So I'll show you, actually. I'll just go back and return. And it's actually, there's as I said before, there's quite a bit in it, the way it sort of does play. If we just go to the dogfight generator, and we can got Hurricanes or Spitfires. Let's just go one Spitfire versus a Stuka and a 109. So just a Messerschmitt. So the Messerschmitts have got, in fact, I think that there is, if I just go back to return, I thought there was information about the different aircraft. It's just options. No, that's okay. Again, the game is still very much early access, and it does play like early access. There's very limited aircraft that you can fly. I think Almanac and through there, Almanac. Yeah, so this is the this goes through the actual different aircraft. And so what this shows is, like, this is the submarine Spitfire. Crew of one, no aircraft is more synonymous with the Battle of Britain than the submarine Spitfire. So it's Battle of Britain. And so it shows you here the turn rate is high, the climb rate is high, the speed is high. Weapons aren't as powerful, defences are low, and roll rate is fairly low. And so as I go through, the Hurricane is, you can see its climb rate and speed, they drop, but its turn rate is fairly good. And so in that last fight, I was able to get away from the 110 by using the turn rate, essentially. And I still had enough climb rate to be able to not be luffing with what's going on. If I go to the ME110, which we were fighting against, you can see its turn rate is terrible. Its climb rate is low as well. Its speed is up there. Weapons are very, very strong with what it can do. Its defences are strong as well in terms it can take a bit of punishment, but its roll rate is also fairly low. So when we look at the Hurricane overall has better things. The Spitfire is even better again. It just doesn't have great defences. So if the Spitfire gets hit, it's basically killed. The Hurricane does have better defences. So, and these are reflected. You saw there the bullets hitting the wing. If that was a Spitfire, that would have destroyed the wing of the Spitfire. But the Hurricane can take that damage a little bit. So it would have been close to damaging the wingtip with the actual Hurricane. That when we sort of got it was hitting the wingtip, but not actually damaging not enough damage to damage the actual wing itself. The 109s are also, you can see there the roll rate is very, very high. Turn rate isn't as good as the Spitfire, but still, it's got different dynamics with what it actually does do. And the Stukas are very, very limited. So the Stukas are sitting ducks essentially. So these aren't playable at all. But it's interesting the way it sort of does work. Not sure what that does. Yeah, I'm not sure how they sort of work. Anyway, that's we'll just exit out of that one. But if I go into the dogfight generator, just set this one up, for example. So the player Air Force, I can play as the Germans or play as the British in through here as well. So you can play with 109s, but you can't play with 110s, I don't think, at this stage. So if we just go and start this particular one. So just play with a 1 versus 2. So in this case, it's sort of randomly starting, and we're starting off fairly low to the ground, and we're coming in towards the enemy. Now, where the sun is also has a bearing on what's going to happen with the actual fight as well. So you want to have the sun behind you, which we actually do in this one. So you can see through there that the sun, we're coming out of the sun. So we'll just go and start. Let's just go and start the match here. And so in this case, we've just got our Spitfire moving towards the enemy craft. Now I can set up the different targets, and so the way it sort of works is I've got like the Stuka is there. So I've got the Stuka coming across. It won't be able to maneuver very much at all. It's the 109 that's going to be the problem for us. And so this is the one that we're targeting initially as we sort of come out of the sun. So we're sort of coming out of the sunshine through this other side. The actual mechanics of playing the game are more about trying to get in position and also trying to maintain your speed. And so we're over on this side, and the target is currently set for the Stuka. Let's just continue that going. So this is going to be Stegman, which I think if that's, it's Stegman back in through there. We just press tab, we go back to our actual aircraft. The way that you play this game, very, very simply, is that you just use the WASD keys as essentially, which will then control the stick. You've got the left and right ailerons, and you've got like the dive or climb aspect. So if I pull back on the like with the S key, the stick moves back, and the craft will then climb. If I climb too steeply, we end up with these black dots, which means that the G forces on our pilot are fairly strong. The pilots have got a stamina bar, the pilot stamina. As the G forces kick in, the stamina will go down, and if there's too much Gs, they can pass out, and it'll take them a bit of time for them to come to. But over time, you've got to be careful of the stamina. So I try not to put stamina, like any pressure on the craft, because the craft can also then take damage as well when you put stress on it like this. But with these sorts of things, I try not to do this unless I have to get out of an attack. So it's very important to just try to only do what you need to do here. So let's just go as if we're going to sort of swing in behind the Stuka. So rather than sort of cut it forward this way, you can see there, actually this is also interesting, when I do that, I do actually have some firing. It thinks that we're going to get a shot there at this point. It's going to be sort of pointing in the direction of where the Stuka is. But I think the Stuka is still a little bit too far away. So just using the WASD keys, I can sort of maneuver the craft where it needs to go. Now, a really easy way of trying to figure out what the craft is going to be doing is to press the G key, and you end up in the ghost ship, or the ghost plane, where you can start to sort of figure out, okay, I really want to be sort of just moving on this direction over here, and then I want to roll around in behind this thing. So I'll just move it across this way a little bit. Now, if I press the Z key, it then's going to start firing. But what that does is it also points to where the craft will go. Now, I don't want to be firing here because I've got nothing that I'm actually aiming at. But I do want to sort of be pointing in that direction. That should be over there by that stage, so maybe even further around, so I can then sort of really swing back in around against that craft. I'll just press Z again and turn off the bullets. And so that's going to be what we then do in this case. I won't spend too much time with this one, but if I just press G again and go back to the ship, not the ship, the aircraft, press enter, will then sort of take me through into this mode, and then we'll just press enter again. So we move up. The Stuka sort of moves past. The 109 is now trying to come around. You can see there that it is now got the black dots. It's trying to loop in around where we're going to be. We're now going to swing back around with our craft. And again, I don't want to put too much pressure on this, but I do want to move up. I also then have the throttle. So I'm on full throttle. I'm going to cut the throttle completely, which will then slow my aircraft down. Down through here we have the speed, like 440 kilometers per hour, and also how high above the water we are. The Stuka is trying to climb a little bit, but it's not very maneuverable. So in this case, I'm going to sort of push up. By cutting the throttle, it means I can actually sort of, I can flick up, and I should be able to then roll over as I bring the aircraft around. So I'll just do that one for now, and just press enter and then enter again. And that should allow me to then start getting behind this aircraft now. So you can see there, now we're now getting this luffing happening, which means that we're going to start to stall. But that may not be a bad thing. Let's go and put our throttle up to half, which means that we're not going to luff. We're still in control of the aircraft. Let's press G and just sort of see where we end up with. And that's looking pretty good. I actually quite like where that is going. Now, the more I sort of pull on the throttle, the more that's going to be coming through. The 109 is trying to get in behind me, and it may still be able to do that one. But if we go into this mode, I should then be able to get in behind the Stuka and line it up. So let's just see if we can do that, even if it means that the 109 gets in behind us. So it is really quite strategic doing what we're doing here. It feels good as well. If we just press G, that's sort of where we're going to be going. So the luffing won't matter much, but our speed has dropped by 100 kilometers per hour just in what we're doing. So, in fact, if I go up to full throttle still keeps me traveling reasonably well. So let's just go and do that. So it doesn't make a massive difference, but it does sort of over time. So let's just go and press enter and then enter again. 109 is trying to get in behind. The Stuka, the gunner in the Stuka is now starting to fire at me. So we're now at full throttle again, and we are going to luff as we hit the top point here. Let's just press G. And you can see through there that we're going to start to line up the Stuka here. And if I press the Z key, I can then sort of see that my guns are essentially, if I do that one, we sort of end up almost firing where the Stuka currently is. So let's just try to see if we can line up. So we're at least sort of lining where we think the Stuka will end up being. So we'll just go that way there. So we're going to slow right down. We're down to 246 now. And we need to sort of get the speed up. We're only going to get one past the Stuka, and then we're going to have to sort of move out of the way. It's travelling a lot slower than what we are. And so it's our target. The 109 is now moving up ahead of us, so we still should be okay here. Let's just go and press enter. Sorry, if I just press G again. And enter, and then enter again. So it's still firing at me. Oh, I've left the bullets on. I forgot about that. So now we now do want to line up. So unfortunately, I left the bullets on. I didn't mean to. Let's go and press G, and so we can now start to line this thing up. And I will press Z again, but I'll turn it back off again. And I want to just have it so you can see there, it thinks we're going to get a reasonable shot there with what we're doing. I might as well leave it on and just see if we can get a shot in with what we're doing. And just see if we can sort of do some damage to the Stuka. I'll just try to get it so we end up with a little bit there. So I will leave the bullets on at this stage. But it's still a fair way away. Okay, let's now line this thing right up. Just press G, and we'll start to sort of now come in behind. Now we are being fired on by the. Actually, no, that's us. That's our bullets. We're sort of just going past. But see how the 109 is now coming in behind us. So we need to really try to knock this Stuka out of the fight, and then get out of the way of the 109 before it can really line us up. So let's just press Z here. And just sort of try to get that one. Now it's sort of showing, again, reasonable areas there. We're using up a bit of our ammo, but let's still go and do that. Let's just go and press G again. Enter and enter. Okay, we've actually hit the Stuka, and it's hit us, unfortunately. And so you can see there that Stegman, critical damage on the left elevator. We can go back and review the last turn by pressing backspace. And so we can sort of see what actually happened there. And I can just use the A and D keys to sort of then move back through. And I can go back and press on Stegman and just see what actually happens with his aircraft. And so as we come in behind it and just sort of slowly sort of move forward, the bullets we're firing, we do end up with, there's a hit in through here. So the first hit is a hit that happens to hit the cockpit. So, or it hits the left elevator. So there's an elevator in through there that gets hit. Actually, that's it there. So that's the first one that gets hit. So the elevator gets hit. The left aileron gets hit as well. And so that's now been hit across there, and it then breaks off. So as it's sort of coming back through, more of the bullets are now coming back through. It's lost its left aileron, critical damage to its left wing. So its left wing is fairly badly damaged. And so as we sort of look at what's actually going on through there, we do have this thing lined up fairly well. Now we also took damage, but we managed to sort of be okay with this. If we go back and click on our aircraft, oh hang on, if I press tab, go back into here. So you can see that we're firing. We do take some damage here. They are firing back at us, and we actually end up with a bit of splash damage that ricochets off, essentially off the windshield, luckily, or just off the top of the aircraft. And so there is a bit of, we have to be careful now because our aircraft will now be a little bit susceptible. And we can see through there that they've actually now taken damage. They've got red damage there, white damage there, white damage down through there. So they're sort of now losing areas. The ME-109 is probably still got one turn before it will then start to kick in. So I think I'll stay on the top of this one. I'll just go and press enter, go back into planning mode. And so with this one here, I'm going to keep on firing at this one. So I'm just going to press G and then press the Z key again. But it's very, very cool the way it sort of does work. You can see there that if I do that, I'm almost getting like a full run of attack on the Stuka. So let's just go and do that. Just press G again, and we'll let that one sort of come through. We'll watch the Stuka. In fact, we can go from the Stuka's perspective and just enter. Oh, hang on, no, we can't. I thought we could. We can look at it afterwards. Now, again, Stegman is the one who's lost his rudder, he's lost everything. But now the Messerschmitt is now coming in behind us, and so the Messerschmitt has taken a big dive to get in behind where we are. So now we need to get out of here. If we have a look back at this one here again, I didn't mean to do this for this long, sorry guys, but I think it's interesting to sort of see what does go on. You can see we're taking damage all the way through, but it's not really doing any real big damage to us. Whereas for this guy here, his aircraft is now starting to blow up with everything that's actually sort of happening with the different attacks that are going in. Let's get out of here. So we've now got the Messerschmitt is now also about to line us up. So we are now essentially being lined up by this guy. I think if I move to the right, it's going to be probably the safest mode, because he can actually then drop down in towards where I am. So let's just get right out of here. So we'll just go press tab. And so we're now going to sort of start to spin around and try to get right out of the actual way. He may get one really good shot at us. So let's actually move up. We'll, I'm still not putting any pressure on the pilot. The aircraft has actually held up incredibly well here. So let's just move out of this. So we'll just go and press enter, and we'll just watch what happens now with the 109. Actually, now we're still being hit by this guy. They're still firing at us. We're being fired at now from both of these. I'm going to try to spin right up and around. Again, I don't want to put pressure on the pilot yet, because I think that the Messerschmitt is still it is lining us up. Yeah, I'll try to keep the speed up if I can, and just try to get right out of this. Again, the Stuka is going to crash, I would imagine. Yeah, they're attempting to bail now. So the Stuka is actually now yeah. So they'll be bailing right out of this. Let's just watch it from now. The 109. We're still being hit. Oh, he's lined us up fairly well here. So let's now move. Let's try to get right out around from this one, where we can sort of use our turning ability. Now you can see there that when we start to do this, when we start to luff at that point, I'm not too concerned about that. Actually, we've now taken some damage, so we've got a critical damage on our left wing, and so Stegman has now opened the canopy back on his, so he's going to be dropping out of this one. We have taken damage by the 109, so we'll just go and press enter. Now it's also moving out of the way. Oh, I've got a shot here. I have got a shot here. So I'm going to go and I can't really get out of this too much. But if I go to there, if I press the Z key, there's a chance we'll get a shot, on this one. Like, we won't really know, but let's just go for it. Let's just go and press G and just see where we sort of end up. If it's going to sort of continue around. So we're luffing now. We're sort of we don't have the airspeed. We're down to 239 kilometers per hour. There's a chance here that we'll actually get some kills in. Like, we'll get a shot in on the actual Messerschmitt. So let's just go for it. We don't know exactly where the Messerschmitt's going to go. So this is going to get very, very tight. There we go, bang. So we did some good damage there. We actually hit its coolant radiator and its fuel tank. And so we see the different colours that came out of it. The coolant radiator is the green. Actually, the fuel is the green that sort of then shows. And so we managed to sort of do some damage to it immediately, luckily for us. So we're sort of just making our way through. I'll continue this fight until we get a resolution. It's going to stall now as well, so let's now dive away from this one and try to get some more speed, because we've done some damage to it, so it's going to have some problems. Its left elevator has also been damaged, so we're doing pretty well here. It's going to eventually stall as it goes up, and so we need to get airspeed. In the meantime, the other aircraft is essentially sort of crashing, so we'll just press enter and then enter. So we are still luffing. So let's now just start to dive and just get a little bit of airspeed up while it's still up in the sky. Now I'm going to try to do a loop, but I need to get the airspeed right up. We're only traveling at 226 kilometers per hour. So let's go and get our airspeed up so we can then come back and do another pass. And this is where the strategy does kick in, like trying to sort of get your aircraft into a position where it's still performing. And if I put too much stress on that wing, that's going to also then our aircraft could actually fall apart. Oops, I didn't mean to do that one. Let's just space and just press enter. So again, you can see the trails there. It is damaged. We're now sort of starting to pick up speed. I need to pick up more speed. I don't want to put too much I don't want it to be turning too fast because I do want to get the speed up, but I want to sort of start to bring it around so I can then line up this other aircraft again. So let's just bring it into there. It's sort of coming back around. It won't be able to maneuver as much. Our speed is slowly rising, which is good. Actually, now Wiener Brenner has now lost his left elevator, so he's actually now putting stress on his aircraft, which means he's not going to be very maneuverable. Which means we should now be able to turn around and pick him up. So we'll do a very, very tight turn. You can see I'm pulling right back on the stick. We're losing a bit of airspeed now because I've pulled back so much on the stick. And he's sort of dropping out of the sky. And I can zip all the way around. I'm down to 263, which is still very slow because I'm putting such stress. I'm not putting stress on the aircraft. Otherwise, we'd see the little black marks. But it's like the airspeed is quite low at the moment. But let's just go and line this one up. So we bring it back and around. And now we should be able to start to line him up and sort of finish him off, hopefully. So let's just go and just press G. Just sort of see that we're heading in the right direction there. So we'll just sort of start to bring this one across. We'll be able to bring our airspeed up now. And he won't be very maneuverable at this point in time, so we should be able to now finish him off. So if we just press G again, and so he sort of should be moving back this way. We've got to be careful of how high above the water we are. So we'll just start to sort of line him up. And of course the Messerschmitts have only got front-facing weapons. And so this will be now set up as a multiplayer game, which should be very, very soon, which is very, very cool. So we're going to start to, I'll just press G again, and just start to sort of position it so we should be able to now get in. I'm sort of looking at where the ghost planes end up. But you can see there, there is strategy to it, because I could have just kept on trying to fight him up in the top there where we were losing too much airspeed, but we needed to pick up the airspeed, because we've done enough damage to him to warrant to come back for another good pass. And now I'm setting him up for the next big pass here. And so he's going to be sort of like right in my sights, ultimately, in the next, should be the next phase. We're looking pretty good there, because he's not very maneuverable. And here we go. This should now be it. This should be the kill for us. If not right now, it should be the next phase. So we're coming in nice and fast. Our speed is back up to 449. We're only 130 meters off the ground. Let's just press G, and we're coming in nice and fast now. So this is so as I sort of start to line it up, if I press the Z, I can then sort of at least see where the bullets are going to end up being. And I think I'll leave that there and just press Z again, so we're not actually firing. And he's upside down, I think. And now we should have him. Press Z again and just line him up. And I might start firing again now, because I've still got a fair few bullets. I've got 426 ammo on this one, and just that looks pretty good actually. So even though we're not getting the indicator there, I'm still going to give it a go. I'm thinking that's looking reasonable. So let's just see how we go with this one. Hitting the water. So we're down to only 80 meters above the water now. So just press G again, but we're actually catching up with him very, very solidly. And so we can sort of see it. If I press Z again, I really want to get that lined up to where we think he is. I might go down to half throttle, just so we're sort of a bit slower behind him, and just try to really line him up now for the final kill. So let's just go and keep on firing. There we go. Hit him in the wing again. So critical damage to his left aileron. He's lost his left aileron. So this will now sort of start to do even more damage. So we've our airspeed is still good, even though we're down to half throttle. So it's it does take time for it to sort of catch up. Just press G, and we can see through there that we're actually now we've really got him lined up very, very, very nicely. And we should start to see. I'm not sure why we're not seeing the actual. Oh, hang on, he's not the target. I forgot to press X to make him the target. That will then should give me the bullet indicator. Yeah, I didn't have him set as a target. Let's just go and just press Z again. And I'm thinking that that's going to finish him off. Yeah, you can see there, we've actually got him in our sights the whole time. So let's go in with this one here. Enter and then enter. We're blasting him out of the sky. So he is gone, essentially. So we'll now just fly away. So you can see through there all the damage that was done there, attempting to bail out. He's gone. So his aircraft is now pulling completely away, spiraling out of control. So we'll now just pull out of the fight, try to avoid any sort of contact with him, put no pressure on our aircraft, and away we go. And he falls into the sea. Enemy aircrafts are out of play. Pilots' lives must be resolved. So we'll automate the final turns. So this is enter plus X, enter X. There we are. Does that do it? Commit turn. She'll just do that. Okay, he's gone. And we're out of there. And so this is the replay of what actually happened. So remember we moved up. We then came in on the Stuka. The Stuka got a few shots in on us. So this is now just the replay of what happened. All happens in split-second stuff. So we took a few hits to our aircraft there, took some damage. We then avoid the 109. We come down and get a couple of lucky hits on it, sort of do the damage to it. We then loop around. While it's sort of struggling, it loses one of its ailerons. We then line it up and come back in. And now that we've got it lined up, it's easy pickings. And then completely destroy it. Just blow it out of the sky. Bang, gone. There it goes. It's a cool game. It's really, really cool. So anyway, that's that little replay. I played that one for too long, but anyway, let's quit to the menu. So that is Scramble, Battle of Britain. A really, really good little game. Again, a fun little game to play, and it doesn't take very long to play a dogfight. It's that's just one just playing as one aircraft. If you like, people keep on saying, "Oh, what's the maximum number of aircraft you can have?" It becomes overwhelming. Like 3 for me is heaps. I don't like playing with more than about 3 aircraft. And when they did their own testing, they found that it just became like just too much. You couldn't keep track of all of the different dogfights. Domi saying, "1, shall I email?" No. Your marble was so fast it leapt through time. There it goes. I think we'll do the marble run now, guys, actually. So we'll start to get that one ready. So we'll go, the Messerschmitt is like Messerschmitt. Saying that the Hurricane was so overlooked. It's sort of funny in the game, like you do really feel the difference when you're playing with the Spitfire versus the Hurricane. The Hurricane is so much more cumbersome to play with. It doesn't have the manoeuvrability of the Spitfire. The Spitfire is great in that game. It's a very, very good game. Richard Phillips is saying the Spitfire is more sexy, so it gets attention from normies, but everyone who actually knows anything about the Battle of Britain knows the Hurricane was as important anyway. Just different, stronger aircraft, and that's reflected in the game. I was surprised that our Spitfire actually managed to survive all those hits from the Stuka when the Stuka was actually firing backwards, but in that case we did pretty well. I was saying 3 things won the Battle of Britain: radar, foreign pilots, and Goering. Here we are. Yeah, actually in the game it does reflect. It does actually have Polish pilots as well that have come through when you play the campaignish type game. So Oliver's saying, have fun and good day to all. Yep. So Wiggly's saying, yeah, it's always left out of the British retelling that the Luftwaffe were ordered to leave for the Eastern Front. They stuck around. I don't know if we'd have won, says Wiggly. So now it's 2 released milestone 5 today, ChatTactic. Yeah, I don't want to fire it up because it would load in. So I'll have a quick look at it, but then we'll do the marble run straight away after this. So we'll go back to Xenonauts. Xenonauts 2. What a great game this is too. This would have to rate in the 90%, wouldn't it? 87%. Yeah, it's a great game. It's so well done. Let's go to Community Hub. I mean, it's sort of funny because Milestone 5 has been you can play the early access version of Milestone 5, so it's not really all that interesting, like, because we've had it for a while. Where is it? It's not going to show us. We go to news maybe. No. Discussions. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there. That's okay. Let's not worry about it because, as I said before, you can play early access and have access to it. Have you played U-Boat? Been having a blast with it recently, says Kelrash. I haven't actually. No, I haven't played that one. Anyway, let's do the marble run. Let's just go in and grab the Nightbot and load it in. And if we go to giveaways, if you guys can type win in the chat, you will then be in the running for it. So I'll get you guys to do that one. I'll fire up Steam while you guys type win in the chat. So just the word win and you'll be in the running. And as I say, whoever comes first will get a key for River Towns, and whoever comes last will get a key for River Towns. So 2 giveaways today. So there we go. So just type the word win in. I'll get marbles on stream to fire up. Damn it! This is downloading content as well. Well, it gives you guys a bit of a chance to then do what you need to do. I'm just going to grab Sublime Text, marble names, Control A, delete. Get those ready as well. Sorry, it's I did fire it up the other day just to make sure that it was actually all running, but it's obviously got a new update to the game. Don't forget Serenity. Yes, I'll actually. I'm glad you reminded me. I would have forgotten. But will he have checked anyway? Will he check? I will put him in. But thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so we'll God, come on, game. Don't do this to us. So it's just got to load all this in. Yeah, but Scramble is a game. It's worth watching, and it's a game that's, I think, it's just going to get better and better and better. I've been sort of interested. I don't know what the campaign will be like, but I'm looking forward to that. I would also love to see more than just the channel. Like at the moment, it's only water that you can play on. I would love to see some ground areas that you sort of that sort of model different parts of England. I think that would be really, really cool. Yeah, and there was also people were asking questions about whether they're going to extend it across so that you end up playing in other theatres of the war, which I think would be interesting as well. Like if they did do that one, but I think Scramble has to prove itself first. But I've got to say, I really enjoy playing it. I probably shouldn't have played the whole thing. I was just meant to sort of show what it was like. But it's such a great little game. It's one of those games you can get completely lost in. So I apologise for the amount of time I took with that one, but it's it really, like, to play it well, you do need to know when to pull out of fights. You need to know when not to put stress on your pilots and so on and so forth to be able to sort of play it fairly effectively. So we did fairly well in that one. Just being, I mean, we were lucky essentially. We did get hit a few times, a few too many times. Anyway, Marbles on Stream will start fairly soon, hopefully. God, it's taking forever. It is taking forever. Sorry about this, guys. I normally sort of double check all this stuff before I start streaming, and today I just woke up and thought, I'll get into it because it's going to be a long one. There's a lot to talk about today. Yeah, how dare you have fun playing a game on your own channel? Yes. So William's saying, nice to see your viewer counts climbing, Daz. It's sort of funny because I dropped off so dramatically a few years ago when I was doing too many live streams. And so I stopped live streaming on YouTube, but now I'm going back to live streaming again because in one sense I don't care too much. It's not like as if it's my only source of income. So it's sort of one of these things. I don't like seeing the channel go backwards, but but yeah, no, it's good actually. It's of course, you do sort of want to unfortunately I'm not at the level that I was a fair few years ago, but I did get sort of shadow banned by YouTube when I was playing AoW4, 3, and that really damaged my channel a lot. They didn't like the word theocrat. I've told this many times, but I put up a series for AoW4, 3 called the Theocrat, because I was playing as a theocrat from the game, but they somehow thought I was probably sort of had anti-Islamic content or something along those sorts of lines, which is very frustrating because you can't actually appeal that. You just all of a sudden see that you suddenly stop being promoted, and that's been the case ever since that time, unfortunately, for the channel. The channel has suffered a little bit, unfortunately, because of it, and then I got into doing a lot of live streaming, too much live streaming, and that also then damaged the channel. So yeah, it's sort of interesting. So I try not to worry too much about the channel, like how it's actually going. So Lewis is then saying, I think the channel is one of the best that I follow. Thanks for that. I do appreciate it. It's one of these things I really focus on just trying to have fun with what I'm doing rather than worrying too much about the algorithm. But the algorithm is important because if it drops too much, then they don't promote you at all, and it becomes difficult. So it's a hard one actually. YouTube is not. It's sort of one of those things where at one point I thought I'd try to grow the channel to a point where I could actually sort of make a living off it. But I'm so glad I didn't do that because you're at the beck and call of them, and it's very dangerous. I never advise anyone ever that gets into streaming to try to think of it as a career. It's just not. Okay, well I think we've actually got the numbers there, so I'm going to close off the amounts. Let's just go back into this. Okay, so we're going to go and copy all the eligible entries. Okay, so how many have we got? Is it showing us? I've got 30 entries. Okay, so only 30. I'll just go back into here, Control V. And unfortunately I have to do it this way. If I just go into find, go to replace all, so I've got like a thing that sort of gets someone through. Just double check that we don't have double ups. We've got one mic. We've had 2 mics in the past, that's all, but I think we're all okay there. And we need to add in who was it we had to add in? There was Serenity. Okay, so we'll add Serenity back in through there. Now, do we just have somebody else? Reed has just come in. So, Reed, I'm just going to go and grab your name there. I think you were the last one. Control C. So, again, if you come last, guys, you're going to win. So, I'm pretty sure Reed wasn't in there. Yep, so that's okay. All right, we'll close it off there. So, that is everything. So, am I on the list? Says Louis. No, you are not. So I'll throw you in there as well. Funny, I thought I saw that you typed it there. So 33. And Dr. Jeff as well. Control C. Just make doubly sure we don't have any double ups again. So we're 34. Yep, okay, there we go. That's good. All right, okay, so Lewis is near the top. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, you are in there. You're already in there. But Dr. Jeff isn't. So that's 33, 32 there. That all marries up. So can you Control F in that program, as in find? Yeah, I probably could. So that's okay. So we can't have 2 Lewises in there. So that's going to be all right. So we're just going to save that. Go back to marbles. And this is all now a bit different. I'm just going to continue. I've got to go to race to start with to put the names in. Clear that list. Open up. marble names from today. 33, that's okay. Go back out, go to the Grand Prix. I'm going to play 3 maps. I'll let them just auto-fill, and we're going to play with bots, and we're going to play with 33. Alright, here we go. They're a bit short, these. Yeah, about 2.5 minutes. That'll be okay. Okay, so here we go, guys. Well, not congratulations. Good luck for everyone. So we'll just get into it. Click on play. Yeah, so anyone who comes last will end up getting a key as well. Sorry, Flackhawk, you're too late. We've already started, so you've missed out. Gee, it's taking a while. Again, probably just trying to load in. Here we go. Here we go. So start. So it looks like Reed has hit the early lead. Let's have a bit of a look. So we've got Seeking Meta and Maladroit are in the lead in through here. So moving through this particular loop, I don't know what the loop does. Looks like it all extends out into some sort of funnel. So Seeking Meta coming out in front in the first place. Straight through, actually John Layla, Reed is actually in there as well. Everyone's going through this loop. See, the first one is through the loop. Looks like Reed is getting closer than anyone else. Yep, actually Sharky Mouth maybe. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. So who's in front? So we've got, it's Brian Day. Brian Day with Sharky Mouth. We've got Fran on the other side there. Reed is coming in 4th, I think. Then Dom UK. So Fran has gone the opposite direction along with Seeking Meta. Brian Day has come straight through. Gone into this middle area through here. Sharky Mouth has now hit the lead, I think just, although no, they're both pretty much together, neck and neck. Who is going to take the lead here between these two? They're a bit out in front of everyone else. Now this is dangerous, I would imagine. Maybe not. God, they're both so close. The others are all sort of combined back in behind. Cannon. Sharky Mouth is the first one through. And is anyone going to drop off? No, they both make it. They've got another cannon, so Sharky Mouth out in front. Oh, Mad Hat Raven Desk has dropped out. Sharky Mouth is being pushed across, bounces off that one. Brian Day is pushed across and also jumps across. The others, we've got Geezer Zone, we've got Fran, Seeking Meta, Dr. Jeff makes it. But most of the others are now dropping off. Lots of them falling off. All candidates for the last place now. All good candidates for last place. So Sharky Mouth coming through for the win. Maybe. Or Brian first in for the win. And still got people dropping off. So Brian, congratulations. You're the winner of this first part of the Grand Prix. We've still got William Thomas has now dropped off. So there's a lot of non-finishers here. We've got Brian, we've got Sharky Mouth, Dr. Jeff, Serenity, Tiger Russ, Maladroit, Thor. So we've got a few left on the map. Lucia is alive, so coming in through the back through there. 10th place gives you 10 points, so Mike gets some good points there as well. And there we go. Brian is the first one through. So congratulations there, Brian, for the first win. Final results. We'll just have a quick look across at the Grand Prix. So there we are. 20 points there for Brian, 15 for Sharky Mouth, 12 for Dr. Jeff, 10 for Serenity, and 10 for Mike. And then sort of trailing off from there, and a lot of DNFs, did not finishes in through there. So we've got a fair few zeros. Okay, next map. So here we go. This is Twisting Turning Activity. So there was a lot of kills in that last one. Okay, start. Very similar map actually. Extremely similar. So Dave Flute has now hit the lead, although it looks a bit different down through here. We'll just watch and see who comes out the bottom here. Initially, no danger here, I don't think. Not yet anyway. Who's going to be the first one out of this loop? So it might be Thor. No, Dom UK. Dom UK and then Fran. Let's just go and pick up like a third place marble and just follow it through. Louise is coming in third place. See what happens in through here. So straight through. Louise has hit the lead. No, Mad Hat Raven Desk has now hit the lead again. And Louise has now just dropped right back. I'll just go further forward again and just pick up Tiger Us in through here. Mad Hat Raven Desk still out in front. Mike has now come through. Miguel, a few of the others. Every time I pick up a marble, sorry guys, it actually keeps on dropping backwards like Miguel now has. So straight through here. Castanar we're now following. So can I put the Moz on Castanar? Got Mike, Mad Hat, Raven Desk. All three of them are together at this stage. So all three marbles. A bit of a look through here. This is the finish line. So that's all they have to be. Looks like no one's going to actually drop off this one. So everyone's going to get points. Oh no, Major Shrifty made. Now that's a very good drop, because that may give you 0 points. I don't know where you finished off in the last one, but that could separate you from the others. If everyone else gets to get some points here and you don't, and you were on 0, I don't know if you were on 0 points before. We'll have a look at the at where we are with this last race to see who's in the running, who could still actually sort of win it. Now, if we end up with a few people on 0 points or something like that, and we don't have a clear, if we don't have a clear winner either way, I'll then just keep on sort of running the race. But it will be, there we go. Reed is now. Is it Reed the last one through? It looks like that was it. Looks like this. Oh no, here comes one. I don't know who that is. There we are. So Mike has come through. That's good. So we'll just go look at the final results. Look at the Grand Prix points. So we've got, yeah, so this is where we are. 21 points there. Essentially 21 points there as well for Sharky Mouse. So we've got 2 out in the lead with Dr. Jeff as well. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, we've got 2 points there for Mad Hat Raven Desk. So Seeking Meta is on 0 points. So Seeking Meta at this stage, you are in the running for the for actually getting the last place. That's a good place to be. That's a very good place to be. What you now don't want to do is do well in this next race. So that's actually very cool. Everyone else got points there except for a Seeking Meta, who was also on 0 points. So that's great. Let's go and do the final race in through here. See who actually wins. And so we'll have to look at the numbers when we actually get to this one here. So good luck everyone. Starting sort of straight down into this other area. Dom UK out in front. And then all moving through. Is anyone going to die in this one? It's a little way to go with this. Dom UK out in front of Geezer Zone. Major Shrifty coming back through. There goes Serenity. No, I'm sort of falling back there. So they're all coming now through this particular area. Big drop here. Big drop. So it's Dom UK and Geezer Zone moving through. No one's actually fallen off at this stage. I'm not sure if there's anything dangerous. This looks dangerous here. This will be where we end up getting the players falling off. This will then push players off the map, I think. Or maybe not. Looks like it might just be a slow down process. Let's see. Yeah, no one's fallen off yet. Okay, Dom UK is doing very well here. Castanar as well. Got a fair few coming through. Got Talked as well, Fran. Straight through there. No dramas here at all. So Dom UK is, this is the finish line here. Now this one may push people off. Seeking Meta. Oh no! You want to be somehow dropped off the map. You do not want to be winning this. Otherwise, you're not going to win anything. Sharky Mouth coming through. Oops. Oh no! Seeking Meta. I was sort of so hoping you were going to lose this. But I think you're going to win it. You want 0 points or 1 point or something like that. You don't want to be in the first little bit. Okay, everyone's here. Goratian is now hitting the areas. Tailsly Fox, Sharky Mouth, Dom UK. Oh, maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough. Let's have a look and see who's going to get this one. Okay, a couple of them have hit that one through there. Seeking Meta, I think you're going to get points here. This is not going to be good for you. Oh, maybe. There's still actually some more sting in the tail here, guys. So who will get through here? Who's going to break through these? CB around the corner. CB is going to get this one. So congratulations, CB. You've got the points there. And Thor comes in second. So the other points we end up getting. All right. So I think it was Seeking Meta that had 0 points. So I'm thinking that Seeking Meta is because you didn't finish in the top 10, you're probably still doing very, very well. This is going to be very close, guys. Very, very close. Let's see how we go. I wasn't even looking at who was coming first. We'll look at the final results, and we'll look at the actual. I'll finish the race, and then we'll have a look at the points. Okay, so we'll finish the Grand Prix. So according to the Grand Prix, here we go. So we'll have a look at the points because the points will be the all-important thing. So CB comes in third. Sharky Mouth comes in second, and so far the winner, and we have to do a points count back, is Mike. So Mike actually won. So congratulations, Mike. We think. Let's have a quick look and see. 31 points for Mike, and then we go down through the list. Let's see who is our last place. So as we sort of come back down through the points through there, so 31 is a clear winner for Mike. So Mike, you've got one of the keys. So if you can email, I'll just give you the email address. So it's daz@daztactic.com. So if you can email me to that email address, I'll then send you out the key. And coming in last place, as we scroll back down, we're getting down to 6 points. We're looking at 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Seeking Meta. Wow, what a great way to finish. I was really worried for you when you were in the leader group coming in that last straight. I thought Seeking Meta doesn't have a chance in hell of getting last place now, because I thought you'd be up getting sort of a number of points, and then there'd be a fair few people on 2 points, like as we sort of see through here. But well done, Seeking Meta, on getting that death in the second last race, and in the last race being able to be Seeking Meta saying, "What a loser!" Well, you're a winner today. So that was a really, really good way to lose. Like, you did incredibly well to be the only person knocked out of the second race, and that's actually what won it for you. So congratulations there. And then you happened to be able to slow down in that last run down that straight, and when you were actually winning. So great finish. So anyway, Seeking Meta, if you can also email me, please, to that email address, I'll send you guys both out the keys to Rivertown. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. But yeah, that was a great finish. I love playing this Marbles on Stream. It's good fun. And so Mike is the actual winner, and Seeking Meta is the last place winner. So congratulations, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back again all week this week. I'll be doing different things, I think. So there's so many, as I said, so many great games releasing this week. So I'll catch you next week if I don't see you in any of the other live streams.